Afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Helix Cloud Games channel as you join myself, Chris, not alongside the man of many pixels or the techie teacher. I'm on my own, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm not really, because I've got you lovely people out there in the cloud joining me for the Google for Games Developer Summit. 1 hour before I thought. The reason Richie isn't actually with me yet is because he is at work. After all, this is a weekday afternoon. But I am joined, as I said, by you lovely people in the chat. So keep me live, keep me right, keep me busy as we tune in for this keynote speech. Aimed at developers, of course. Don't know what to expect, but we should say we'll temper our expectations as we tune in live. We expect it's about a 50-minute keynote, with the 5 minutes bookended either way. And then there's a bunch of Stadia-specific conferences happening throughout the course of the afternoon. It may be like last year, where they just kind of drop them all into a YouTube playlist. Who knows? They might actually play back-to-back. But we'll find out together along the way. Let's see who we've got. We've got Dre in the chat. Welcome back, Dre. Thank you for tuning in. We've got Jin as well. Starts in 12 minutes. You get those kids home from school, my friend. Marcus, looking forward to this. Not expecting much. There we go with the good old countdown. Let's get that beat in the background. Nice quiet beat there. As we wait for this one, of course, Inlead's in the chat. What up, Inlead? If you've not checked out his Stadia Pro Games Monitor and the rest of the stats he gathers, fantastic member of the community out there. Raging Jacob, this should prove interesting. You are completely right, my friend. This is very interesting, of course. We don't really know what to expect. The Stadia social channels have been building this up in a way that they haven't done in previous years, but we should temper our expectations. This is aimed at developers, so if anything, if you're a fan of cloud gaming, you're a fan of Stadia, this should be the best place to get a bit of an insight into what it's like to develop games, how Stadia are working to help developers bring more games to the platform in the future. And in some ways, a consumer hopefully just shows that there is a future pipeline and a roadmap. One of the blog posts did actually say they will be revealing the future of Stadia, so I don't expect to really see Phil Harrison do any talking points. We don't even know what he's up to nowadays. But we're in it. We've got 40 seconds before it goes live. Richie is in the chat. Thanks for dropping by, Richie. Kumnar's in there. Happy 4 p.m, of course. Yes, this is an hour early because the time changed stateside. Our clocks don't go forward here in the UK for another 2 weeks, I think, at this stage. So we got a bit confused, but we're here an hour early. If anything, we get this an hour early. Devoy's in there as well. Welcome. Welcome, of course. Miss Terps is there. Hello, fellow Stadians, indeed. This should be interesting. But yes, expectations lowered. Shout out to all of our members. Of course, if you want to support the channel, you can do it by clicking join below. You get badges, Stadia controls next to your name, access to super stickers, and our SideQuest Show up to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 days early. Let's check out this keynote, folks. I'll crank it up a bit. I'll try not to talk too much over it because I know this is going to be in depth. Let me know how the sound is. Don't want to blow your ears off. But again, we'll respect the developers as they do their thing. I'll turn the subtitles off if they're a bit rubbish. I know sometimes they can be 30, 40 seconds behind, which defeats the purpose of them, but here we go. There we go. Developer Island. Looks a bit like Thunderbird's Island, with a Google coat of paint over it. Let's see.
Welcome to the 2022 Google for Games Developer Summit. Hi everyone, I'm Greg, Product Director for Games on Android and Play. Today, you're going to hear from several of my colleagues and game partners, sharing tools and experiences from their journeys, building immersive worlds and fun experiences for players. With hybrid workplaces, new technologies, and ever-changing player demands, we continue to see proof that so much of your hard work has paid off. In fact, we saw more players than ever as games continue to grow as a popular pastime.
Like who has the little castle on
From a
its
recent survey
table.
done in partnership with Newzoo, we found that more than 65% of players plan to continue playing the same or more than ever before the pandemic. This suggests the elevated level of gameplay we're all seeing is here to stay and remains an opportunity for developers and publishers to grow their business. Whether you're working on your first game or about to launch your next season pass, Google aims to be a helpful partner across the development lifecycle to build your worlds and grow your game. For the next hour, you'll find updates across our teams on tools and services that empower you to create awesome experiences and help sustain your game business. After our announcements, over 20 sessions will be available across mobile development and cloud infrastructure tracks, with deep technical dives and great stories from some of our most successful game developers.
That's what we're going to check
I joined the
out.
Android and Google Play team in 2013, around the time we celebrated the first anniversary of Google Play. The mobile ecosystem we enjoy today was only starting to pick up momentum, and at Google I/O that year, we were excited to reveal Android had gone from 400 to 900 million active users in less than a year. Since then, the Google Play ecosystem has grown to reach billions of users in over 190 countries, thanks to the amazing apps and games that you've created. And we've grown right along with you, each year rolling out new tools like the Play Console, Android Vitals, store listing experiments, and more recently a business model update, all to help you propel your business on Google Play. Over the years, we've seen that apps and games are not just experiences, they're businesses, led by talented people like yourselves. So it's our goal to continue supporting your business to reach even greater potential. To do this, we will continue to build the next generation of services, tools, and features to help you create and monetize high-quality game experiences, more programs tailored to your needs, and more educational resources with best practices. Thank you for being part of the journey and the community we've built together over these years. We look forward to continuing to innovate and grow together for many years to come. So let's dive into some of our game-focused announcements related to Android, Chrome OS, and Play. Now, I'd like to introduce you to Leo Alebe, Managing Director of Partnerships and Business Development for Games at Google. He'll talk to you about how we are investing in developers of all kinds. Over to you, Leo.
Thanks, Greg. It's great to be able to come together to celebrate the incredible progress that Play has made over the last decade. All of that progress is only possible through all of your passion and hard work. So we wanted to start the keynote today by highlighting how we are working to support the broader games community, the incredible community of up-and-coming developers, as well as established developers. Each of you has an important role to play in the future of the games industry, and we are here to support you in all of your success today and into the future. We want to help developers throughout
How
the
many of
game
you guys
development
out there actually play
We also think it's
mobile
critically
games?
important to support the
Specifically
games community as
mobile
a whole.
games.
We've done this before through programs like Change.
I've said with Richie on the podcast before,
We
we
launched Change the Game in December.
probably
of
don't play as much
2017
as we used
on a
to.
mission to make mobile games truly for
I don't know if that's
everyone
just an age
by
thing
celebrating
or
and empowering women as players and creators. We've also made
prefer a
space for
controller
people
to
through
touch
items like
screen,
this
I
series
guess.
of store activations, highlighting strong, underrepresented group founders of apps and games.
Of course, we know
We are
early
committed to
doors.
launching programs and initiatives
Sorry to
in
interrupt
these
this guy,
three
but
areas.
we weren't expecting this to be
Promoting
all-out
diversity in
Stadia
games
content.
and
There
of
will just be
games.
some guest speakers,
Empowering the
so
next generation of game
hopefully we
makers
get to it
and celebrating women
within the first
who are
hour of the
changing game.
keynote.
Today, we're pleased to announce that Google Play is taking our commitment to improving the games industry around us even further. This year, we are investing $1 million in cash and $1 million in ad credits so we can invest in scholarships, grants, and sponsorship support across organizations focused on driving positive change in the games industry. From representation to mental health to accessibility, we believe that it is critical to invest both our money and our time. For selected programs, we will be volunteering and hosting seminars led by the Google Play team. We're also committed to helping all developers thrive, whether these are large multinational companies
Well,
or
it sounds
small
like you guys
startups
in the
or
chat are
indie
kind of the
studios
same
just
vein
getting
as
started
me.
on their
Yeah,
game
definitely more
development journey.
console. I
They
do
are
use my phone a
all
lot for
critical
Stadia.
to providing the services
Razer Kishi,
and
FIFA,
experiences that people around the world look
touch
for
input,
on their Android
always great.
devices.
Yeah, good shout.
One way we're doing
Mad,
this
I
is
think,
by
yeah,
continuing
emulators
to
on your
expand
phone would
our
be
Indie
great.
Games Accelerator and Indie Games Festivals. The Indie Games Accelerator
This is
a
kind of where
program
Google
that
gets a
provides
bit,
indie developers
it
with
branches out into a
mentorship
lot of different
and exclusive
avenues.
access to Google and industry experts, as well as a network of other
I think
passionate
as Stadia
developers
fans, we probably take it for granted how much money
Last year,
Google
we
Play
nearly
Games
doubled the
actually
eligible
brings in.
markets for participants to more than 70 countries. It's exciting to see such fresh ideas and talent
It
continuing
could
to
do,
bring
Andy, it
great,
could do.
innovative games to Google Play. We also expanded our indie game festivals a program that showcases high-quality games that are ready for the spotlight.
Those characters
event,
almost look like the
combined
beans
programs
from
different
Fall
regions
Guys.
into a single virtual experience and opened it up to
Copyright
people from
pending.
across the world to join.
Google Bean
The
game.
quality of games we saw was amazing, and what's really exciting is to hear about the success many of the participating developers achieved after being in the program. From significant install lifts to revenue growth, several studios
Be interested to see the recent games that have came to Stadia have been announced for Stadia with the kind of click and point adventure games that were mobile. They are in the Google Play Store. Make their way over if this came
pitch their games for publishing deals
from these kind of relationships.
Demo day on March 22nd. Thank you, indies.
Like, how many indie games will you see at that festival day that will eventually make their way to Stadia? I know we spoke on the podcast weekly about we don't know necessarily how we feel about those games being ported across. Obviously, they have a place on Stadia, but if we're expecting 100 games this year and a big chunk of them are mobile point-and-click adventure ports, is that the direction we want?
As they become more established and enter a new phase. Today, we want to talk to you about 2 ways to do that we're really excited about. First up, PlayPoints.
Whee.
One of the premier ways that we support our developer partners is through the PlayPoints program. PlayPoints is already
This is a great way, by the way, if anyone out there does play Stadia and isn't involved in the PlayPoint program. I get boosters weekly for points which then convert into PlayPoints which I can spend on Stadia games. And also Google Opinion Rewards. If you've got an Android phone out there, Google Opinion Rewards. If you travel around for work, you get random surveys based on your location, where you've been shopping. I've had several games free on Stadia just from answering quizzes.
And revenue for your games. Finally, we also want to talk to you about a brand new program that serves our largest game developers. Developers at this scale have long lead times and invest a lot of time and money through every part of their game's lifecycle. From development to pre-launch marketing to finally launching and keeping their millions of users happy every single day. So today we're introducing the Google Play Partner Program for Games with additional services and features tailored for our largest developers. Benefits of the program include faster releases with a priority publishing queue, enhanced pre-launch tools like pre-registration testing and store listing experiments for pre-registration, growth and engagement tools post-launch like LiveOps, access to insights to device attributes across Google Play, additional integrity protection tools to fight scaled abuse, and finally, invites to early access programs with more features to come. Developers who meet the program criteria will see a new experience when they launch the Google Play console. We've added a program page that lists all of your benefits at a glance, along with links to helpful resources. Some program benefits are completely new features, and some are enhancements.
Without being a developer myself, I'm intrigued to know how many of these features are new to the world of developing for Play Store.
Most of pre-launch game testing phase, we're giving Play partners who qualify the ability to invite pre-registered players to exclusive beta tests of their new games.
Okay.
Players love the opportunity
Soccer Pro 2022 confirmed.
And developers benefit from having a large-scale, real-world.
As long as we get FIFA 23, I don't care.
They couldn't easily replicate by any other means.
And Madden and all the other sports games everyone out there wants.
Based on country and device total memory, or gather targeted feedback and build excitement with their most valuable.
Oh yes, Rob, Shadow Raid Legends advert has got to be in here somewhere.
Feature in early access and told us that it played a big role in the success of their Call of Duty launch. And that's just one of the new benefits. We've already welcomed a few partners, and the feedback from our early access program has been very positive. If you qualify,
this is always something that does intrigue me, is how Google obviously have a relationship across mobile with the likes of Activision, Blizzard, and other companies, and yet it never translates to the Stadia aspect of things, which you think there would be some negotiating power on the table.
Benefit the entire Play developer ecosystem.
Millions of players on mobile. You think that would give you a bit more pull?
Shared in the Android and Google Play ecosystem.
You could say the same for Epic and Fortnite.
Product announcements to share today. I want to take you through how we're making it easier to bring Android games to more screens, develop high-quality Android games, and show you some new tools to grow your game on Google Play. Let's start with multi-screen gaming.
Right,
for Google Play, we're seeing that Android has continued to grow.
Nobody holds the tablet portrait, right?
With over 2.5 billion monthly active users on Google Play, this massive worldwide
That is a
audience
lot of
is
players.
playing games
This
across
is
more
where the
form factors
synergy
than
between Stadia and
From
Google's
Android
wider
phones to
scope
foldables,
should be
tablets,
utilized
Chromebooks, and
so
Google TVs.
much.
Our mission has
You've
been
got
to
that many
enable
people
games on
engaging
all
with your
screens,
platform
so we can
through
meet
Google
players
Play.
where they are.
There
and give
needs
them
to
the
be more
convenience
trickle
of
effect
playing
through
games
to
wherever
the
they
cloud
are.
gaming space, and
We've
I'm sure
done
that's
well
what their
on this
aim is
mission
long
so
term.
far, and we're proud to be
Very
one of
early
the
doors still,
largest
folks. Very early
ecosystems to
doors
help you
still.
find game
Hey Meg, hey
businesses.
George, hey Chris, hey Andy,
Tablets
hey
are
all of you
offering
people in
an
the chat.
incredible
Louise is
gaming
there, Edward,
experience.
Geek the
Over
Sneak,
the
thanks for
past
stopping by,
18
folks.
months, we've seen people around the world buy and use Android tablets more than ever before. And foldable devices are an exciting, innovative form
Yeah,
factor
but you
as
have
our OEM partners push the future
What, coffee
of
on
mobile
cereal,
devices.
Meg? So I don't think that sounds.
Gaming on these devices offers the opportunity to bring more engaging and immersive experiences than ever. And it represents a large opportunity. For instance,
foldable.
49% of people who use their tablet while watching TV use it to play games. For foldables alone, we've
Now,
seen more than
I'm
a
intrigued by the
2.5
foldable
times
phones, but I
increase in
would be
device
concerned that
sales
I'd be
year over
playing
year.
on my Razer
And it's easy
Kishi
to
and the
see
phone
why.
would just fold in half
Foldables put the
mid-game.
power of a tablet right in your pocket.
Cripples
For
the
tablets,
Kishi between my
usage in the
fingers.
home and at work has transformed in recent years, with an almost 20% increase in tablet sales that continued throughout 2021. Users
It
are
certainly
getting more
could
than
be.
ever on tablets, spending almost 10% more time on their devices than they did in 2019. For game developers, this is great news. The investments you've made in your Android titles to support different screen sizes and
It's actually
orientations
crazy to
helps
think
you reach new sets of
the
users
sheer
in these
scale
rapidly growing
in which these
categories.
devices are all optimized for. Like, how
Speaking
many
of
different
which,
devices are
another
out there
large
with
screen to
various
think about in your
screens and
overall
shapes?
continuum is Chrome OS, where your Android games can also run. Chromebooks had an
Hey,
incredible year in 2021.
GeForce Now
We're
getting a
really
slot as
excited about the
well.
continued growth of Android games on Chrome OS in
Interesting. Here we
particular.
go. Steam
Android
as well on
usage
there.
on Chrome OS has grown over 50% year over year, led by games, with contributing new titles like Dead Cells and SmashCards.io,
Dead
who have
Cells, great
optimized
game.
for Chromebooks. Notably, we announced that Unity now offers x86 support, supporting x86 instruction sets.
Now, this is the kind of
on
stuff you can see
32
on
and
screen.
64-bit
Android,
based
Play
Chrome
Store,
OS
Steam,
devices.
GeForce Now,
There are
Nvidia.
also a lot more ways to
All in the
play
same
video games with Chromebooks.
kind of playing
For
field
example,
as Stadia.
the Steam Alpha
And
just
this is what we
launched,
keep saying on the
making this
podcast every
long-time
week.
PC game store
It's still in
available on
its
select
infancy.
Chromebooks for
It's
users
they're
to try.
literally sowing the
You can check
seeds
that
of what the
out
next
on the
decade of
Chromebook
gaming is
community
going to look
forum
like.
learn more.
And the industry is just going to get
And later
bigger
this
and
year,
bigger,
we'll have a public
more
beta for
investment,
a
more
new
money.
games overlay for select Android games, making these games
Less
playable
consoles.
with user-driven keyboard and
hardware,
mouse
we should say.
configurations on Chromebooks
Consoles are great.
without developer changes required. Lastly,
Look at that,
cloud games are more
50%
vibrant
year on
on
year.
Chromebooks than ever before, with services like Stadia and GeForce now making over 1,400 amazing PC titles available for streaming.
PC
Chromebook
titles?
users are spending millions of
We got that
hours
many
per month
PC
playing
titles?
Big titles
Think
like
of-
Cyberpunk and Fortnite.
Cyberpunk, give them that.
Collectively, these experiences
Big
make
chunk of that
Chromebooks
PC titles is in the
increasingly attractive
GeForce
device for
Now
This year,
side
we're
of the
going
court.
even further with multi-screen games. As we studied the behaviors of those gamers, we made two interesting observations. First, with the billions of mobile-only Android game players, there's a large cohort of intense gamers who are multi-screen owners. They switch between devices to play their games on different screens depending on their mood, locale, or game genre preferences. For this cohort, playing games on mobile remains highly convenient, and they routinely switch to a desktop or a laptop when they want to play on a large screen or get a precision control experience.
He's not wrong.
Second, in a global study conducted by Google, 76% of our mobile gamers showed strong interest in playing the same
This is where the
mobile games
revamp's
on
coming from
desktops and laptops
for
as
Google Play games on
in sharing these
PC, which
insights
looks
with
like
many
Stadia,
mobile
which is I
developers,
feel like where
found
we
they
might
were
get
keenly
to
interested in
today.
this opportunity too, and they wanted to reach a larger audience with the same game. More importantly, developers want this to be ROI positive and avoid the costs and complexity of supporting additional
Return on
platforms.
investment positive, I believe that is.
So in January this year, we rolled out Google Play Games for PC. This is a new standalone Windows PC application built by Google that allows you to play a high-quality catalog of Google Play games optimized for a desktop or laptop PC. Since January, we have offered this as a beta in South Korea, Taiwan, and Hong Kong, where players have been experiencing their favorite mobile games seamlessly across their mobile phone, tablet, Chromebook, or now their Windows PC. With Google Play Games for PC, players can easily browse, download, and play their favorite mobile games on their PCs, while taking advantage of larger screens with mouse and keyboard inputs and enjoy them using high-performance emulation. The players experience no loss of progress or achievements while switching between devices, as each game syncs with the cloud and it all just works with your Google Play Games identity and profile. Our beta already includes some of the most
classic
popular
games
mobile
in
games
there,
the world, like Mobile Legends Bang Bang, Summer
I recognize
War,
Asphalt.
State of Survival, Three Kingdoms,
Everything
Tactics,
else,
and
not so
Home
much.
Shapes.
Angry Gingerbread Guy,
Collectively, these games
Blue Dragon,
delight hundreds of
generic
millions of
army
players
guy,
globally each month.
Dynasty
We're
Warriors of some
excited to be
sort.
partnering with top developers to expand their reach, build engagement, and bring their incredible games to
I'm sure
larger
Clash for
screens
Clans
for
is in
players
there.
Worldwide. To tell us more
Shout out
about
to Crossy
their
Road.
multi-screen journey, let me welcome Sherry, the VP of Marketing for Moonton, the
Moonton.
creators of one of the world's most popular battle arena games, Mobile Legends.
Never heard of Moonton.
Sherry, take it from here.
Come on, Sherry. Bring it home.
Hi, I'm Cherry, and I'm in charge of VP Publishing for Moonton Games. Moonton is known as one of the pioneers of mobile gaming with millions of international fans worldwide.
You're out, Cloud Code. Mobile Legends, bang bang indeed.
Currently has over 100 million monthly active users who enjoy non-stop gameplay with their mobile devices. Last year was a successful year for Mobile Legends Bang Bang, including its
what
esports
bank?
division. According to esports charts, in the global ranking for mobile esports viewing hours in 2021, Mobile Legends Bang Bang ranked first with 386 million.
Gonna have to check
hours
out this
of
game.
total viewing,
Mobile Legends, bang bang.
up
Okay.
2.5 times.
Anyone out there in the chat play this game?
2020.
Can you attest to its success?
Furthermore, Mobile Legends Bang Bang was recently awarded as the best mobile game overseas by Sensor Tower Epic Awards 2021. The platform and its worldwide mobile accessibility has brought joy to many gamers, and we are excited.
See,
to
I don't
bring
know
the
anyone
game
who
one
plays
step
this kind of
further
stuff.
to other platforms. It gives us great honor.
I've
to
never even
announce
seen
our
that logo
partnership
before.
with
100 plus
Google
million people,
to bring
folks.
Mobile Legends Bang Bang to Google
You could
Play
show me
Games
so
on
many
PC.
cover artwork for video
Now,
games, and I'd be like, yeah, I've
players
seen
in
that.
the
Yeah, I know who that studio
can
is.
continue their legendary
It's a whole different
fights
world, mobile.
seamlessly across
Mobile
the
and cloud.
devices, and enjoying the desktop quality game matches with their friends. With the developer tools provided by Google, we successfully landed Mobile Legends Bang Bang on Google Play Games
The
for
Walmart
PC.
version.
And all updates for the game will be made available on both mobile and PC.
Just
at the
goes to
same
show,
time.
as much as people think, oh,
We
it's
hope
Xbox,
all players
PlayStation,
enjoy the game
Nintendo,
on
PC.
Thank you.
There's a whole group of people out there
Thank
enjoying
you, Sherry.
games without
We're
that
thrilled
hardware.
to be partnering with Moonton to bring your IP to Google Play Games for PC, and I'm glad to hear it was easy to get on board. A key
Nice.
principle for us is
How many of them
ensuring
plans
get
do we think
high
are real?
ROI from Google Play
There's a
Games
lot of
for
little
PC,
succulents out
so
there.
you can get the most out of your existing Android game while reaching more screens. Our platform allows you to use the same Google Play tools.
Triangles on the
developer
wall kinda
console,
make me
and
wanna watch
publishing
Saved by the
services
Bell
like
again.
Android Vitals to access Windows and Chromebook audiences. It's the same APK, same workflow for easy PC compatibility.
Easy peasy.
We've also built a high-performance, trustworthy experience
I'll stop
with
now.
deep integrations into Android for an optimized gameplay experience. To deliver on the
Be interested to see if we get any news about Stadia expansion with them talking so globally about Google Play Games. I think there's a couple of, well, a lot of countries out there who are saying, when is the rollout? You see it on social media. When are you coming to this country? When are you coming to this country? Be interested to see with the folding of different markets in with Google Play Games, if we see that tie in somehow.
We have much more to share with you about Google Play Games during this summit. So tune in to our Google Play Games for PC sessions, and you can express interest to add your game to our catalog by visiting the link you see here. In July 2021, we unveiled Play As You Download, a new feature built into the core of Android 12 that allows users to get into gameplay in seconds while the game assets are downloaded.
Only there was a way to play the games
All
without
this can
downloading them,
happen
eh?
with minimal development
Hey, everyone.
changes to your underlying implementation.
Ooh, look who's joining
Leveraging
me.
services like App Bundle, Google
Hello.
Play Signing, and
Hello,
Play
hello. I'll just make sure we're in the right
Since
spots.
then, the beta
Yes, we are.
program has been
Kind of. I
progressing
just have to lower my
steadily.
seat. Richie's
And
with us,
after
folks.
testing this new
The man of many
capability
pixels.
with
He's finished work early.
We're pleased to tell you that we will
Seamless
soon
switch.
open up
We're talking
Play As
about
You
mobile
Download to
games still,
all
Richie?
Android 12 users.
Okay, what were we
Consumers
talking
will
about
be able
before?
to
I only
identify
literally jumped in,
compatible
said
games
hi,
in
and got
Play
back to
Store
work for a
through
bit.
badge.
That's
And
cool.
we'll see a new rapid
Not much
install
Stadia
experience when the game
content.
is ready to
A lot of talk about
We also
GeForce
encourage
now
developers
and
to
Stadia
continue
actually
to
bringing
sign up to
PC
the beta
games.
at the link
But at the
that you
moment,
see
we're very
here.
much on the expansion of
You can see
Google
how
Play
Play As You Download
into
can help you
PC.
reach more
Say hello to the
users
56
by
people in the chat
removing
watching along.
Welcome, 56.
Well,
We also continue our
That's it,
focus
there's
to
one
help
person
you build
watching called
high-quality
56.
Android games.
If there is,
In
you
recent
get bonus
years,
thumbs up.
we
Get a
focus
bonus
on
thumbs
tools
up.
and SDKs that simplify this process and help give you insights about how to improve the performance and stability of your games.
So I'm just letting them talk
On
for now.
Android, we've
But
continued
yes, thank you to
invest
everyone who
in
has
making
tuned in the
gaming
chat. If you are
easier.
watching for the Stadia specific news and you don't know already, we do a weekly Stadia podcast. We're up to 130 episodes this week. Consistently, every Monday, drops right here on youtube.com/Helix Cloud Games. Check it out. We talk about Stadia, we talk about games, we talk about cloud, everything.
And since then,
It's gone good.
parts of it have found their ways into many first and third-party game engines. The kit has three key focuses.
You're actually watching this,
First,
you're watching along,
integrated
Richie.
workflows
You're tuned in.
Led
Yeah.
by the Android
Cool.
game
Yeah, tuned in.
development extension for Visual
Yeah, there you
Studio.
go.
Then there's essential
Notice
C
it
and
says
C++
Assassin's Creed
game
Valhalla now.
libraries,
Don't know what that
like the
promotion's
game
in there for.
activity
Get
and
rid
game
of that.
input libraries. These help you build more stable native C and C++ games with less Java. And lastly, performance optimization, where tools like the Android GPU Inspector and the Android
So what's been
Performance
going on in
Tuner
chat then
can help you
while
track,
being at work?
profile, and optimize game performance before and after.
What's
a
been
launch.
going on in the chat?
Yeah.
Since
Just
we last
everybody
spoke about the
saying that they don't have a
AGDA
clue about this game
we
called
received a lot
Mobile
of
Legends
feedback
Bang
from you
Bang.
on various performance and
literally
quality of
the name
life
of it?
improvements. And we're
Yes.
excited to share the
Mobile
work we've
Legends
done
Bang
to
Bang.
help debugging,
100 million
memory
people
management,
play
and
it,
graphics
apparently.
profiling.
All one person plays it
First,
with 100
let's
million
talk
bots.
about the Android game
Yeah.
development extension for Visual Studio.
Gonna
This
shift
extension
those.
allows game
Here we
developers
go,
to
we're
build
going
directly
down,
for
we're going
Android
down.
from within Visual Studio, bringing our expertise
that's a bit
in
better, everyone.
fast, reliable Android building, debugging, and performance to your Visual Studio team. While AGDE in particular helps you develop your game in C or in C++, there are often bits of development on Android that require Java, and we found it was very painful to switch between debugging C and Java, and even more so as you try to migrate projects to and from Visual Studio and Android Studio. To make this easier for you, AGDE will now include cross-compatibility between Android Studio and Visual Studio. Now, AGDE projects are supported in Android Studio, and you can open them directly there to edit Java code in Android Studio's debugger. Developers have told us this is a great time saver, as opposed to trying to recreate the project in Android
I have no
Studio
idea what
or
you're talking
maintaining two projects in parallel.
Just to put that out right there.
We are also
I think that
adding
goes
support Visual
for a lot of
Studio
people.
2022, and soon pushing a slew of performance and feature improvements that you've all been requesting.
On the
Next,
fly, that's how
let's
it's
talk
done.
about memory management. We know this can be challenging on
Also, as
Android as
someone
a
who doesn't
multi-purpose
mobile
operating
game
system.
ever.
With other applications
Kinda-
running in the background.
Yeah, we said
your
with the
game
chat, there's a
routinely
lot
at
of
risk
our
being
viewers and
killed by
listeners
a
right
low
now
memory
who
killer
kind of the same. They might
Without
dabble in the
a lot
odd
of
mobile
telemetry
game,
that's
but
going on.
they very
To
much
help you
play
slay the
traditional
demon,
console style
memory
games.
management
Or
and
if they
avoid
do
an
play
LMK,
mobile, it's an
we're
emulator,
introducing
usually.
a new library
Yeah,
into
I've done that
AGDE
before,
to
but
help developers
I think
understand
there is
their
that kind
memory
of thing,
consumption.
isn't there? Like in society where
With the new
if you're
memory
a
advice
traditional
API,
gamer, for want
your
of a better
game can
term,
find out how
you typically
close
don't
you
play that
are
many
to an
mobile
LMK
games.
on any
Mm.
device. With that runtime,
Yeah, we just use our
information,
phone
you can
for
choose to
phone things.
immediately reduce memory
Calls,
consumption,
texts,
like changing
scrolling,
your LOD
scrolling
Anything but
eternally.
calls,
Yeah.
or simply collect telemetry to understand
The
your
endless
resource
scroll.
consumption.
Yeah, now
on
this one we
memory-constrained
know
devices,
this keynote
and
runs
plan
for
adjustments
about
to your
1 hour, and then we're going to branch out on the
We're making
Stadia
this beta
specific
API
things. So anyone watching
and
along
its
now
memory
thinking they've not
and
mentioned
consumer
Stadia yet,
available in
it's
the
not
AGDE
just this first hour. There are a few little segment videos
Last
and
up for the Android
presentations
game development
for us to
kit
check
is the
out. So
Android
fear
GPU
not, folks,
Inspector.
fear not.
Originally
This is a
released as the
spreadsheet,
first
Richie. This
platform-wide
is
GPU profiler for Android.
this is why
It's
this is
proven
focused at
essential to
developers and
understanding
not your
what game
consumer.
is
You would never
on
see this on
GPU
stage
versus CPU.
at a
Achieving
consumer
better
focused
frame rates and
conference.
battery life. However,
Yeah, a couple
identifying
seconds
GPU
maybe that's
bottlenecks
fine.
alone isn't enough. So we introduced a frame profiler into beta last year to help you identify
so
which
it's a
render
spreadsheet.
passes are slowing your game down and see the impact of
do
the
like a good
resources
spreadsheet.
and graphics API usage have on frame performance.
Do you think they use
For
Excel
example,
or
it can be pretty
Google
difficult
Sheets.
to figure out where you're
Sheets.
overdrawing or creating unnecessary work.
they
But with
converted it over
AGI,
just for the sake
it's
of
much easier
presentation?
to see what's happening
Exactly.
in each render pass. As an example, Crafton was able to use AGI
Oh,
to
Crafton.
profile
Adding a
PUBG
mod
Mobile
library on
and
Stadia, I
reduce
think that is
GPU
very slim.
usage by 22% to the benefit of their players. We're
Mods are
excited
just
to make
one of
that
them
frame
things I think
profiler
game
generally
developers
available to all developers
Rarely
today
care about.
and help you discover the
Therefore, like,
performance
Google
benefits
themselves are
our
not gonna
early
care
access
about.
developers have achieved in the last year.
If you're into the
You can
modern thing,
check out
PCs
all the new Android
game.
game development kit features at the link that
Again,
you
it's
see
just
here.
access with mods, isn't it? With
We
it
launched
all
Reach
being
in
secure
devices
Google
at this
server
very
side that have
summit
to give
last year.
kind
Yeah,
of
it's
some
a
form of
Decision-making
access.
tool in the Play
You've got
console
even less
that
chance
shows
than
you
with
the
PlayStation or
distribution of
Xbox.
users and
At least the
activity
Xbox is the
across
games how
different device
like
attributes.
how is locally.
This can help you with
Yeah.
both business
I know some
and
devs do.
technical
Bethesda have been
decision-making
quite good
for
with
your
it in the
game on
past.
Play. Like
Yeah.
deciding
They
which
try to
device
monetize it
specs to
though.
build for,
Yeah, true.
build a business case for which new
No,
countries
why
to
not?
launch into, or understanding where you can push devices to their limits.
Reaching devices.
We recently published a case study by FunPlus, who used Reach in devices when planning a major update to their hit game, State of Survival. This
Another one
overhaul
I've never heard
upgraded
of.
certain game features from 2D to 3D.
He did mention Crafton
and
there,
it would
which are the guys who do
require more memory,
PUBG. So
compute, and storage
PUBG
than
Mobile's
ever
obviously huge.
Reach in devices help them establish how to tier devices for delivery of their new features, targeting the
PUBG
right
is an interesting
devices
one
with
because
the new
I've got
experience
PC
while
variants,
increasing
console
engineering
variants,
efficiency.
cloud variants, and mobile variants. So
We continue to
it's
improve
probably
this
a
powerful
useful
tool,
like
especially to
oh,
help
we need a
factor
game that
in
people know of
monetization on the
that we can
devices
talk
you
about
attempt to
across
reach.
the board.
Currently, Reach in devices shows
I just looked at that saying Google Play console there and thought they're gonna make a console.
Focus is revenue. You may want to understand your ability to reach non-paying and paying.
I'm
users
always curious to
with
think
different
what a
spend
Stadia
profiles.
console would look like.
So we've enhanced
Like
this
we
power
said
of
before, like
revenue
Chromecast.
if they give you like a little TV box, like a little white box with the Stadia logo
just-
on it,
It's just literally a
evaluate
Chromecast just
revenue
mounted
and
in there in the
growth rate
center of it.
when
Just
troubleshooting
inside a
technical
plastic
issues.
chassis.
or
Yeah.
making investment decisions on which devices you.
Hey, you could put it in shops and sell
For
probably a little bit
example,
better.
You could discover what your revenue share is for a specific device spec, and see how that compares with
It might
peer
be an
games
easier
on the
sell,
same
like.
devices. You can learn more about this and
Yeah,
other new
keep it
features
separate from the
in Reach in
TV and the
devices
Chromecast
section.
thing, and
You
just
can also
genuinely
try them
give
out
us a
today
box that
in
is
the
a
console.
quote-unquote console,
You'll
even though
have
it just
heard
does the
many
same
times
thing.
from us by now, but I'll
Yeah,
never
you can
tire
charge more,
saying
but just strip out, like, the
quality is a
Google TV
key
Yeah.
component to your success on
It's a
Google.
lesser device, but it's just
Quality
marketed
and stability
much
affects
simpler.
Player churn, your game's
Marketing
discoverability
sells
and
stuff, it's-
promotability on the
Well,
store,
yeah, it is.
and it influences the users who evangelize your game to others. As a result, we've been working on enhancing Android Vitals. This is your destination for troubleshooting the technical.
How are your
quality of
Android
game
vitals,
on Play.
Richie?
We can share that 70% of the
Hydrated?
top 1,000 games on Play use
63%.
Android Vitals routinely. And our top Vitals features requests include the ability to explore your Vitals metrics at country level and accessing those metrics programmatically. Today, we're
Programmatically.
delighted to
Don't think I've
announce
ever heard of
that
that
you can
word.
now see country breakdowns in Vitals for all your metrics. You can also
Exactly,
filter down
sir.
to the country
Lancelot.
level
A box with
across
lots of
all
lights.
metrics in both
Brian in
Android
the chat,
Vitals and
over from the
Reach
Nerf
devices.
Report. If you've not
So you
checked
can
out
better
Brian's
approach
channel,
your
does
user
amazing
experience by
breakdowns
country
of all the
and
Stadia and
understand
cloud
where to
gaming
focus
news
to
in
resolve
nice
crash
short,
rates and
succinct
ANRs
videos.
across those
Shout
device
to you,
specs.
Brian. I hope you're doing
Check
well.
these out in the Play
evening.
console today. Additionally, today we have launched the Developer Reporting API to all developers to get programmatic access to your core Android Vitals metrics.
I know,
This
Pink
new
Orange.
API
We knew
helps
this
you
was going to
retrieve
happen.
Vitals metrics
It's going to
and
be
issues
Stadia
data,
sprinkled
like
somewhere in
crashing
here, but we
nodes,
don't know
accounts,
where.
clusters,
Let's
and
just hope it's
statuses.
worth it.
A long-standing request. We're excited to offer this API
If not,
to
you know
help you
about Android
automate your
Vitals?
quality workflows.
Yeah.
Your Google Play game
Incorporate
that you're
Vitals
gonna make?
data alongside
Yeah.
your
All you
other
budding
datasets
developers out
and
there?
use the data to power your own dashboards. You can learn how to get started
How many
on these new Android
microtransactions can you
Vitals
get from
features
each
at the
player
link
per
that
day?
you see here. Continuing with the theme of game quality and stability,
Firebase
we want to do more
Crashlytics.
to help you to avoid buggy.
That sounds like a
unstable
mobile game.
We've made improvements
Firebase
to Crashlytics
Crashlytics.
to make debugging your games easier.
Get your crash coins
Crashlytics
now.
is Firebase's mobile crash reporting tool that helps you track, prioritize, and fix stability issues faster. With the latest updates to Crashlytics, developers using native code will now get greater visibility into their app's C++ crashes. Additionally, developers will have access to a wide range of native crash types being reported with more in-depth stack traces so you can debug and fix issues faster.
Chat, let me know if I'm a bit quiet.
These native crash enhancements have been extended to our SDK for Unity to show symbolicated C++ frames tied back to your C#.
Yeah, it might need cranking up because my audio's come from my mic, and you're speaking over the audio for the video.
Config's latest personalization feature.
I mean, I can hear you fine, but I'm not the one relaying through several feeds.
The power of machine learning to automatically find the optimal experience for each user to produce the best outcomes, like which players are best to nudge into social share interactions.
I believe so, Brian. Yeah, it's
Games
been a few weeks,
used personalization
months,
to
in
improve
fact.
revenue and ratings with minimal effort from their team. You can check out these exciting Firebase
First time we've had them
updates
talk
for your
about
games
Stadia
today.
in,
Let's switch to some important tools to help
was
you
it
grow your game business.
probably Ubisoft last summer?
The Google
Yeah, that
Play
doesn't really
console
count, 'cause that's
is
That's not them,
receiving
yeah.
Ubisoft
as a resource
being
for
Ubisoft.
creating invaluable business insights and driving
Yeah,
decisions.
it'll be a Connect probably from, or it might even be last year's
We
Developer
are
Summit.
particularly excited to launch strategic guidance for
We shall see.
monetization.
We
Was
shall
it good
As
see.
we
stuff?
strive to help more game developers.
No, that was the year
at
before, I think. The Dev Summit was this time last year, and good stuff was the November, right?
Conceptualize and prioritize
Yeah,
the lower
maybe.
level metrics.
It's been a long time either
you can
way.
influence directly in
Like, this is the first time we will see a visual
business performance.
virtual
Large
presence
developers
of
turn
any
to
You'll actually
experts
see
like our
Google
growth consulting team.
employees talking about Stadia.
Acknowledge.
Make
Stadia.
recommendations on where to change your game design or analysis that helps you prioritize a content roadmap. Strategic guidance brings you those expert consulting insights straight into the Play console. With one intuitive interface, it helps you understand how your different monetization metrics fit together to contribute to
Yeah,
overall
I'm a Stadia
revenue
Connects as
performance.
well, Mahad.
And it just works if you're leveraging Google Play billing APIs.
I know, like the recent
Even
Sony State
better,
of Play
we
wasn't
use
didn't
peer
like
set comparison
people
benchmarks
set,
to
like
help
the
you
world alike,
identify
but
which
I don't
metrics
mind
give you
stuff
the
like that. That
largest
regular,
opportunity.
okay, here's a bunch of stuff you can
And
look
every
forward to.
metric
If you're into
comes
it,
with
you're not.
trended
You're into
data
it. If not, you're
and
not.
direct suggestions and advice on how to increase performance, all derived from the same.
Yeah, well, I think we
growth consulting
criticised the
experts
Good Stuff
who
event
help
because it
build
was
the
like,
interface
they made it
to
out
work
like it was
directly
3
with
days and it
developers.
was 3 5-minute videos spread
Many
across
game
3
developers
days.
don't have
It was a
access to growth
15-minute event
consultants,
split across 3
and our
days.
early
But
partners
I
have benefited
don't
from
believe
having
there's
easier
anything that should
access
be
to
stopping them
these
from
analyses.
taking,
So
like
now,
the last 2
all
weeks we had 10
monetizing
game
developers
announcements.
can use strategic
Put all them
guidance
trailers together
to
in like a
analyze their
snippy
business
advert
performance like an
and just
expert.
drop it as a coming
You
soon
can check it
video
out in the Google Play
like,
console today.
once every
I've
few
said
months.
before,
We
I
also
mean,
know that for
Brian's in
many
the chat, he does a great job of
accelerating
rounding
buyer
up like
growth through
weekly
discounts
news
and
to Stadia.
promotions
They
is a
could
key
do something like
component
that
of
themselves.
driving
Yeah.
revenue.
They could even hire
Google
Brian
Play,
to do it.
We designed a
Yeah,
growth
I'd do that.
promotions program that
If I could afford
automates
it.
promotion marketing on Play at scale, driving purchases and games across our platform. We deliver Google-funded offers like dollar off promotions to eligible
What do you think that
users
castle's made
to
of,
help
Richie?
make their
Think
next
it's 3D
purchase more
printed
attractive.
or styrofoam?
We
I
optimize
think it's
the
3D
eligible
printed.
users using machine learning trained on a variety of signals,
It looks
including
plasticky,
different
so-
usage and spending behaviors. Google Play has over 1.8 billion users who are eligible for personalized offers at any one time, and the system helps you drive incremental spend at scale for your games. As game makers, we know you are constantly
Oh,
looking
give
for
me
the
some
right time
Taxi
to upsell
City.
a player to make their next purchase in your game, without
That
being
like
annoying.
crazy taxi or something.
With all
I
these
doubt
Google-funded offers, you
doubt
also
it.
don't have a way of knowing if Google Play has an offer for one of your users during gameplay to help you make the sale. Now, for the first time, we are excited to help game developers leverage offers from Google Play with our in-app offer system
Monetize,
API.
monetize, monetize,
In-app
monetize.
offers are designed to engage players by making the first purchase or repeated purchase experience more attractive using Google Play discounts and offers. With in-app offers, you can show offers like whole dollar discounts or loyalty points.
I'm going to go on a limb and say Taxi City
Contextually
isn't a
during
real
gameplay,
game, right?
When you think
No,
your
it's
players
not,
will make
but-
a purchase.
It
For
could be,
example,
though.
imagine your player just lost a
Let's
level,
find out.
and they are thinking of buying more game resources to power up before they try again. With in-app offers, you can choose that exact moment to ask Google
Yeah, how
if
do
the
you get
user
paid
has an
more
eligible
money?
discount for their next purchase, and let them know it's available to increase the likelihood
doesn't
they'll
look like
convert
Taxi
with
City's
that
a game.
extra value from
Damn.
play. By displaying a personalized Google offer at the most relevant moment, you stand to convert more players to payers and drive incremental
Who
spend
needs
in-
Tiny Tina's Wonderlands when you've got
You'll
Taxi
also give your
City
users a
with
seamless
$1
promotional
incremental
experience. By
offers?
tapping Use Offer, the user
Taxi
can be
City's a new
directed
worm
to
game,
your
isn't it,
store to
now?
purchase
Yeah,
what they
probably.
want, with that offer and be right back into their game in seconds. In later phases, we're looking for ways to let you fund the offers yourself and define who is eligible, all while leveraging our machine learning capabilities with billions of users to make the paid conversions you care about.
Let's have a pop-up that comes up when you
can express interest
in
in
a
our early
game
access
to try and
program
sell you
for an
stuff.
opportunity to try out in-app
In-
offers.
Might be good for
before
devs,
the
but that's
feature is
not good for
generally available.
consumers.
To be considered, you can reach out to us via the email you see here on screen.
Yeah, I'm sure as a
We
business,
went through a lot today.
it's great
let's
to be like,
remind
oh,
you what it's all
awesome,
about.
I can
We're supporting
wiggle
the
in
broader
little
games
ways to get more
community,
incremental
the incredible
funds.
community of up and
Yeah, to you and me, it
coming
means I'm
as
going
well
to be
as
harassed
established.
more with pop-up offers.
We're excited to
Yeah.
announce the Google Play Partner Program.
Oh, here we
We've
go.
invested in products to help
Google
your business
Play
grow
Partner
on Android and
Program.
Google Play
Is this the
by
Stadia
making it
Makers
easier to
program
bring
for
games
Android?
to more screens, now including PCs, making game development easier and providing tools to help you develop high-quality Android games, and providing you new tools to drive promotions and build strategic insights to grow your game on Google Play. More than anything, we want to thank you for an amazing year.
Thank
We've
you.
all been playing together and supporting each other through a global pandemic. Through it all, you have managed to craft amazing experiences, build new worlds to surprise.
Oh, is he
and
thanking
delight,
the devs
and
or
come
us?
up with endless ways to
He's thanking
support
me
your incredible
specifically.
community.
You
Call it out.
specifically, yeah.
We look forward to many more years together, creating successful games and platforms for players around the world. For more information on everything we talked about today, please be sure to check out the links that you see here. Next, I'll hand it over to Belinda and Nash to share updates on ads innovations for games.
No, that's not great. Don't hand over to ads.
Hi, I'm Belinda Langer.
She's in the
and
same
I lead
room.
Product development for app campaigns in Google Ads. It's great to be here with all
I think
of you
Stadia
today.
was last on
I've been
that
working
dev
on
list,
app
if I
campaigns
recall,
this week,
when
and I'm
when they
always
posted
excited
it.
to
It
share
was
with you
ads,
how far we've
something
come
else,
in
and
building
then
features for game
Stadia
developers like
team.
yourselves. Recently, I've gotten into word games on the New York Times crossword puzzle app, and it's the first thing I
Word
do
games.
every morning when I turn on my
Showing
phone.
about Wordle?
It's even become
Probably,
a family
yeah.
affair, and my family loves to chime in and help me out during breakfast. As many people like
I don't have the
It
brain
immerse
capacity for
themselves
doing
in
puzzles
games,
first thing on a
we've seen a
morning.
huge acceleration
Imagine having your
in
cereal
mobile
and trying to
games
figure
pandemic.
out mental
For
puzzles.
example, players
I
not
have
only
my porridge
discover
at
more
work.
games, but are now continuing
While I'm reading my
or
emails.
increasing their playtime. And this presents
Best
a
way to do
great
it.
opportunity for you
Eat on
to
someone
build a
else's time.
flywheel for your game, where you can successfully acquire, engage, and monetize your users in order
Monetize,
to power
monetize,
more
monetize,
user
monetize.
acquisition and game growth for the future. Today,
Well, while you're all here,
my
folks,
colleague
speaking of
Nash, will
monetization, if
share
you
with
want to
the
support our
latest
channel,
ads
bring you
product
extra
creation
content, why not click join below? Unlike these, we don't gatekeep anything. All of our content does eventually go live on free feeds, but you can get the Sounds of Stadia podcast, your weekly roundup of all the Stadia news. You can get our weekly SideQuest show, first looks, live streams, access to the Discord, stickers, badges, all that fun. I only jest. If you want to support us, we love it. Just watching, tuning in, clicking like on that video, which is free, we do appreciate all the same. We're just three guys playing games, talking about games every single week in the cloud, and we have fun. But we won't be doing 50% of our revenue in mobile gaming anytime soon, so if you want to join the channel, there's a bunch of tiers, click join, read about it. We do appreciate the extra support.
It's easy to find these players for your game.
But Richie,
across
until we
Google's
get
largest
Adventure
properties like
Duck-
YouTube, search,
Is it
and play.
Deuce, Dex?
You
Yeah, Adventure
define the
Duck.
business goals that matter
Dace.
to you.
Dace,
Adventure
right?
Duck.
Whether that's driving
Dex.
installs for your
Dex.
game launch,
De-
acquiring players who will spend.
I read it and I was like, I know it's
Dex,
Deus Ex is the game, but seeing it at the end of a word confused my brain.
I wonder what you were talking about there, because you're like, I think you're about 4 or 5 seconds in front of me, so it's like,
It's how I live my life, mate. It's how I live my life.
Play.
Meg knows. Meg's in the chat with all your stickers and badges. Of course, she's got a founder's control next to her name because Meg's been a supporter for many, many moons now. Like many of you do. You're all awesome. Ben Mox from the chat, afternoon. You're doing great, Ben. He's on the cusp of his wedding now with stag do's out the way. Tom is about to be a married man. He barely survived his stag do.
I tried to make sure
And
he,
beyond the
but
launch,
I
you
failed.
want to make sure
Yeah.
that you can continue to optimize.
I tried to get him drunk
your
with
revenue.
Sambuca.
And that's why today
Worked to a
we'll be
degree.
introducing two updates
he doesn't like
to app
Sambuca.
campaigns
That was
to
fun
help
for me
you
to watch.
acquire these high-value players faster and more effectively.
What are
to
we talking about
accelerate
here?
Your game's success. We'll talk today
High-value
about
players,
enabling
get them
faster
whales on board.
campaign
Exactly.
creation from pre-registration, plus optimizing, and
So chat, as we
measuring your
creep
ads
up
revenue.
on the 40-minute mark, as we creep past the
Let's
40-minute
take a
mark
deeper
of this
look at
lovely
the first part,
presentation, and we're
helping you
deep
to set up
deep
your
into
new game
monetization and ad
for success
revenue.
and get you the
What is it
results
you're
you
exactly, if you could pick one
We've
thing
seen
you're
pre-launch
expecting to
marketing
see
become
out of Stadia's
increasingly
segment here
popular
today,
as a way to get a
don't
head
let it be
start on
ads and
running installs
monetization.
within a
Let me know what
very
you think it
short
needs to be.
timespan.
What you're expecting.
With
I've seen a few of your
registration,
thoughts on
you can build
social media, but I'm really
excitement and
keen.
awareness for your game
Same with you,
and
Richie.
understand
Any
each
kind of
step
last minute
before you publish
predictions,
on Google.
thoughts before we get to them?
I
Pre-registration
think
allows
I'm
users
well
to
versed in
visit
saying
a
the
place
main
or a
thing
listing
Google needs
and
is
sign
the
up to
games,
receive a
because
push
the games are going to
notification
drive
when the game is
the
ready to
players
be
into the
installed.
platform.
Players will also be able to opt in to have the game
But that's not going to be
auto-installed
here because
on
that's
launch
more of a
day,
consumer
so they
thing
can
rather than a
start
developer
playing
thing.
immediately.
For a developer
In order
thing,
to accelerate launch
I'm almost
performance and
thinking,
drive even
as much
more
as I
quality
don't think it's going to
traffic
happen
your game,
100%,
many developers are using app campaigns for
Stadia Gen 2,
pre-registration
this
or
whole thing that keeps
ACP
getting
for short,
let's get thrown
to
around for the
give
last
a
2 years,
burst of
which
installs
Google
during that
said
first
isn't coming.
critical week
Like,
of launch.
it's an incremental increase
App
rather than a
campaigns
specific
for
generational
pre-registration
shift, but
is an app
Hey,
campaign
they could tell us about
improving-
that.
early,
generally
high-value
improving
users to your
the
game
hardware
on
to
Android
give
during
developers
the
more
pre-launch
powers
stage.
to help better optimize the games.
This helps you to get a head start on building your golden cohort.
Let's see what
to
we've
generate
got in
even
the
more
chat.
engagement and revenue.
Cloud Code P51, this is the worst presentation I've ever sat through. You clearly did not sit through the Koch Media presentation this summer that me and Richie did.
This presentation is absolutely fine if it's for you.
Yeah, we're not developers,
not for us.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
There's an article on The Verge about Stadia Developer Summit. Lots of people will be disappointed. Yeah, the Windows for Games, there is a separate segment which we'll look at after this keynote speech, focusing on that porting process for Windows games, which I think is probably going to be the biggest takeaway from today. Really interested to go check out that one.
You'll be
Getting
able to set up
Windows
app
games
campaigns
natively
for
playing
apps
on
with the
Stadia or
pre-registration
Google
stage
Streams
in place
could be
for
massive for them.
This means that you can avoid any time
I'm
delay
interested
in
to see how they
with
pull
your
that one off,
launched
actually.
app and start advertising to users immediately.
Yeah, well, it's
after the app status
been
changes
flung
from
around that it's going to be
pre-registration
Proton
to launched.
or some version of
And now
Proton,
that you've
but it's
launched
going to be
it,
custom
the
made,
next step is to
so
retain your high-value players and to grow your game revenue.
I think is it Steam Deck
Ads
uses
monetization
Proton?
has become even more
yes, I
popular
think
with
it is, or
developers
some
And I
version
think
of it.
if
As
I
players are
understand
spending more
correctly,
time in
chat,
game.
correct me if I'm wrong, it's
Greg
basically a
and Leo
Windows
mentioned
emulation
earlier,
layer.
there are over 2.5 billion monthly active users on Google Play. where this
2.5
massive
billion
worldwide
active users.
audience is playing games more than ever before. And in fact, 70%
Maybe drop
of
2.5 million of them a
players are
cheeky
continuing to
Stadia
play
Pro
at the
discount
same
or a...
or greater level since the pandemic.
Could you imagine?
However, developers of ads-funded games face a unique challenge. It is not easy to get your apps into the hands of players who are most likely to engage with ads. A holistic monetization strategy is needed to optimize and measure
The gaming
your ads
industry
revenue
did take
for
a
the long
massive
term.
uptick because of the pandemic in general, because
Today,
people had
we have
nothing
an
else to do.
update on how you can better measure and optimize for your ads revenue. Last Dev Summit, we announced target return on ad spend for ad revenue,
Oh, that is a
or
bad...
TROAS for ad revenue, which is a way for you to find
TROAS.
users who are more likely to engage with in-app ads. When you bid to
I've already
target
forgot what
ROAS
it stands
with
for.
a focus on ad revenue, you can directly optimize to
I know
revenue
R's probably
earned
revenue.
from ads shown in your ad,
Target return
and
lad.
dynamically pay more
No, I didn't hear the
or
S.
less depending on how likely a player is to engage with your in-app ads.
Taking revenue out.
TROAS for ads revenue is powered by the Google Analytics for Firebase SDK, which helps you measure in-app events and understand the player behavior beyond the install.
Beyond.
By linking Google Analytics for Firebase SDK to Google Ads,
I like the name
you can
Firebase
import
for a game.
Google
That'd be
Analytics
quite cool
conversions
for like
by
a
bidding in your
Command
campaigns.
and Conquer, Age of Empires, like
Bidding
Firebase.
on Google
Firebase.
Analytics conversion helps to provide more signals to our models and enables higher performance for your app campaigns. In addition, Google Analytics unifies revenue reporting across key metrics such as
This is the kind of different thing, I guess. Like all game
and
companies
ads
talk like
revenue
this
to give
to
you a
devs. Usually at
full
GDC, we'll probably see
picture
lots of
of
content
user
similar to
lifetime
this at the end of the month when GDC kicks off.
And I have
Yeah.
some great news.
But because
to
it's not
share.
in person, it's not on stage.
All ad
it
mod
seems
publishers
very
are now
almost
able to
robotic and-
seamlessly integrate ads revenue data into Google
Because this
Analytics
part's so
we're
ad
talking about
focused, yeah.
optimization.
We're talking about
At the click of a
statistics and
button,
ad revenue and
with
stuff.
no
You're not going to jazz
additional
that up. Either you're
SDK
interested
required.
in that or you're not. And you're interested
This
in it if
will
you're
incorporate
starting to make money
all
off it.
ad mod
Otherwise,
platform
you're
revenue,
not. So
including mediated ad networks, and exchanges. But
Just think how much money 2.5 million players, was it million or billion? Billion probably. Billion players have spent even just in the last 45 minutes this presentation's been going.
This allows you to import third-party.
Oh, they're not doing very well there. $112 revenue.
And send to Google Ads for target return on ad spend optimization.
And it's all in one spike as well.
This new feature, third-party ad revenue in Google Analytics, is generally available. I've shared some new ways to help you acquire valuable.
You have shared some new ways. Thank you. Thank you.
Soon,
Now
pre-reg
moving
apps will
on.
be
Trial
able
for
to create ad
Risk
campaigns before
is
game
available
launch.
with no account required.
While TROS for ads
Good
revenue
stuff.
is still in a closed beta, you can already get a head start on integrating your third-party ad revenue data into Google Analytics today. We can't wait for you to try them all out. And now
Hard
I'll turn
pass.
over to Nash to
Well,
cover
Mark's
the
in the chat
latest
saying that according to The
monetization
Verge, there will be
strategies
no
and
login
AdMob to
required
help you
for free-to-play
maximize your
games in
ad
Stadia.
Good.
Hi everyone.
I mean,
I'm
you log
Nash
into
Islam,
Gmail
and I
account,
lead
so
global strategy for
no, if
AdMob
that's
and Ad
massive
Manager.
barrier to entry for people.
Ad
I'm a
Mob.
3-time Googler over the past 10 years, and outside of Google, I've been a startup
a
entrepreneur
3-time
and app
Googler.
developer building with Firebase and Google Maps APIs. I've also launched and scaled ads monetization teams across the world.
He's only Googled
Outside
three
of
things
work,
in 10
I'm a
years.
hobbyist rapper with an album.
See, if you're a
published on leading
3-time
streaming
Googler, I
platforms,
must be
and
about
I personally
50
enjoy
times a
playing
day.
Settlers of Catan
God,
and
yeah.
Clash of Clans.
I know that's what they call their
One learning
employees.
I've had over the years is the
it
importance
Googlers or
of integrating your
Googleites?
monetization strategy early.
Can't remember now.
I'm guessing Google.
ads-funded
games
in
if he's
particular,
3 times.
A well-thought-out
Guessing that means he's been
monetization
hired 3
strategy
times.
can help you gain revenue momentum after your
Probably need to
acquisition
stop hiring
efforts
if he keeps
and power
leaving.
that flywheel growth for your game.
Penzi's all about
That's why
revenue.
today, I'm
If he can
excited
show
to
you the
share how
statistics on a
latest product
spreadsheet,
innovations
Richie,
from AdMob
how can you
help
say
to
no?
maximize the revenue potential of your games. As Belinda mentioned, we've seen an acceleration in digital, where gaming maintains an upward trend post the pandemic. For example, the majority of players plan to continue playing at the same or even greater level after the pandemic. In fact, we see that existing players actually increased their playtime by 42% in 2021. This increase
Those are
in
rookie
engagement
numbers.
provides a great opportunity to earn more revenue from their
Playtime.
game.
That's just more people sat on the phones because they're
While
on
providing a
furlough
great
from
user
work,
experience
right?
is key to driving
Yeah, I
long-term
think so.
growth. It is not always easy.
Like
to
my
balance
brother
your
works in
monetization
the
strategy
restaurant.
with the great user
Is it
experience.
restaurant or
Three
alcohol
key
industry?
ways
What do you
to
call
help
it? But I guess it
achieve
serves
sustainable
food.
revenue growth are using the
Yeah,
right
I'm trying-
reporting
these
to
are-
gain more
these are-
clarity.
Yeah, either way, he was
Leveraging
furloughed for like
automated
7
tools
months or
and
something.
formats
So he
to
was just
increase
sat at
user
home.
engagement and diversifying demand sources
Lots
to
of
deliver
gaming hours
more
of
value.
that.
Oh yes.
That's
Let's see how the latest improvements from AdMob
you need.
can help
That's
you
one
to
of them where
generate
you'd have to
ad
just
revenue
find
growth
ways
for
to
the
get
long
out
term.
the house.
First,
You'd have to force
let's
yourself
talk
to
about
find
using
ways.
the
Yeah.
right reporting to understand your performance.
You do your weekly
Growing
grocery
the
shop one
user
item at a
lifetime
time
value
just to
just
get
to
what
get
excuses
out.
to leave the
will
house.
help to
Yeah,
understand
otherwise,
your users'
this guy's
activities
going to come and
evaluate
maximize his
the
revenue.
effectiveness
Yeah.
of your user acquisition spend. Today, publishers have little visibility into the portion of LTV that comes from ads without building their own internal systems or purchasing expensive tools. This is why AdMob is introducing a new impression.
I'm kind of lost what we're even talking about now. I know we've not been really paying that much attention, but are we still talking about mobile games or?
driven by the AdMob network,
I'm
as
guessing
well
so.
as
I mean,
in-app
Google for
networks
games.
and
He's talking about
waterfall and in-app
revenue
bidding.
growth.
After showing an ad, AdMob will share the revenue from that ad with the publisher via a callback in the Google Mobile Ads SDK. This will be made available to all publishers in the coming months.
Okay.
Transparency of LTV across partners helps you identify where to allocate spend on campaigns that work well. This is why we're excited to share that AdMob's impression level LTV
I don't know if excited
feature
is the right
is
word.
also integrated by top app attribution platforms like Adjust, Singular, and AppsFly.
What are the chances,
This makes
Richie,
it easier
Stadia
to get
gets like a
clarity on
60-second
return on
window
ad
at the
spend,
end?
also known as ROAS. Let's
Also,
take a
and
look
it's
at
just
how
literally, and
world-leading
also
mobile
Stadia,
game
and that's
studios
it.
increased
Yeah.
revenue
And also, our
by
Stadia teams have been hard at work.
45%
More on that
AdMob's
in the
ROAS.
months to come. And
Blacklight Studio Games is a mobile gaming studio in India, and their most popular puzzle game, Ludo Superstar, has been downloaded over 30 million times.
now I've heard of Ludo.
In order to expand their global
Not
user
necessarily
base into new
Ludo
markets,
Superstar.
the team used app campaigns to attract new users and drive more downloads. However,
I've also
the
heard
team
of
did not
Blacklight
have full
Studios. Have they
visibility
just
into the
been
lifetime
acquired
value
by
of those
someone?
users and the ROI of
Blacklight
the user
Studios.
acquisition
They're
campaigns.
not part of Activision, are they?
In order to gain more clarity in their ads performance, the team used AdMob's impression level LTV feature to track the eCPM for each ad impression.
I feel like I've read the name
Together with
somewhere
Firebase
recently,
and BigQuery,
outside of this
Blacklight
presentation.
Games was able to analyze user acquisition and revenue data to find that certain markets were generating a higher return on investment. As a result, Ludo Superstar shifted focus to scale up spend in those markets, and in 6 months, Ludo Superstar saw 45% increase in overall revenue. That's not all. Ludo Superstar was able to increase their user base in new markets by 45%. While gaining a full understanding of ads performance is vital, it is important to keep users consistently engaged in your game. A good in-game experience is key to retaining your users and growing your business for the long term. Firebase Remote Config is a cloud service that lets you dynamically control, change, and optimize your app, so you can run experiments to test ideas and deliver personalized experiences, all without releasing a new version.
testing.
By using Remote Config with Firebase A/B testing, you can gain insight into the impact changes have on your key metrics. For example, you can
Do we
A/B
think that's
test
the
a new
logo
ad
for
format,
Firebase?
change the
That little
frequency
kind
of
of
ads shown to different user cohorts,
three-layer
and
flame.
alter the placement of the ad within the app to track impact on revenue. Now, Remote Config's personalization feature can help you automatically
like
optimize
Play-Doh people.
individual user experiences to maximize your goals through the power of machine learning.
Oh,
Yeah.
machine
While A/B
learning.
testing gives you insight into how variants perform for different user segments.
That's one of
against
the
a control group.
buzzwords.
Personalization works to continuously find and apply the right app configuration for each user to produce the best outcomes, taking that load off of you. Halfbrick, the game studio behind titles
Oh,
like
the runny one,
Joyride,
Jetpack Joyride,
and The
that's it.
Man, and that instant classic.
That's a
Freak
classic mobile
Use
game. Jetpack
personalization to
Joyride,
optimize ad
Endless
frequency,
Runner.
which led to a 16%
I don't
increase in
think I've
revenue.
played it.
You've
without
never
affecting
played Jetpack
engagement or
Joyride?
retention.
It's on console.
They also use personalization
If you want to play it on there
to
as well.
determine the best time.
It's probably free now. It was one of those games
Such
where
as
it
when users
actually
are most
cost
enjoying
money
the
to
game.
buy, I think, if I
And they
recall.
were able to boost positive App Store ratings by 15%. Firebase Remote Config personalization is currently in beta. Another key to creating a successful in-game experience is through engaging ads interactions. AdMob is constantly optimizing ad formats in order to drive long-term revenue success for your game.
Was he
Developers
just
have
talking
been
about
using
basically
AdMob's
using machine
rewarded
learning
ads
to kind of
as they
figure out
provide
when people
non-intrusive
enjoying your game
ads
most to kind
experience
of rig
by
the
allowing players to
ratings
opt into
rather
an
than
ad
taking
in
people
exchange
putting an
for
overall
in-app
impression
reward.
out there.
Sounds
At
like
the
it.
same time, publishers benefit from high user engagement and CPMs. We're happy to announce that we're optimizing rewarded ads to
It's
make it even
basically
more effective
analyzing
for
the
publishers.
human
Alongside the standard
like
rewarded
psychology.
ads,
consciousness,
short
yeah,
videos, or
to the
playlists,
most
we have launched
clinical of
display ads
metrics
and
where
rewarded
it's
for a
like, right,
lightweight
they're
and
more, they're
non-disruptive
99.9% more
experience.
likely to buy in this particular
greatly
segment if we
improved
drop an
reward
ad in now.
enabling publishers to increase
You know, the
rewarded
biggest thing that'll
impressions
catch that
and
catches me out is, you know, when
For
you're on
example,
YouTube and you go and
let's
try and
take a
press
look at how
something
distinguished
and the window
Japanese mobile
moves
game
and you end up
studio
pressing a
Gung
menu
Ho
because it's jumped
has
around or a
rewarded
pop up
ads into
and it's
various
just as you're about to hit like close the window or
ads
skip
that
ad,
hit title,
it jumps
puzzle,
and you're like, oh,
games.
and then you open up another video
For
and it's
10
like,
years,
man, I
Gung
skipped.
Ho's Match 3 monster collecting title has relied on
I think
in-app
I once had a
purchases
cash
as its
machines I
primary
kind of like
monetization
out me
model.
before. This is something where
With this
I
loyal
went, I
community
pressed the
in
button,
mind,
nothing
Gung Ho's
happened.
top priority is to
And you
provide
wait, it's
the
like,
best
I
player
press it again, as I
experience
pressed it,
to
the
keep
screen
players
changed,
coming
I
back
ended up
time
withdrawing like
after
100 quid and only needed the tenner.
As Puzzle and Dragons
Thousands.
Guess who's going to the
the
bank
team
tomorrow?
decided to explore a new hybrid monetization strategy.
Irregular activity.
Using
You
rewarded
withdrew
ads
money,
and
input money
incentives
straight back in. What's
addition
up?
to its
Yeah, it's
like,
in-app
yeah.
purchase offerings. Gung Ho first conducted tests in small markets and saw positive results early
Gung
on
Ho.
with their ad design and placements. Encouraged by the outcome, Gung Ho
300%
decided to
lift
move
in ad
forward
revenue
and
is pretty
integrate rewarded
decent.
ads in
Yeah.
its app version
Not
with
bad.
the highest daily active users.
If that's like,
result
if
was a
like 90% of your revenue is
300%
ad revenue as well,
in ad
that's
revenue
it's a
in
lot
the
of money.
largest market. In addition, rewarded ads had a positive impact on user engagement and retention without sacrificing a high-quality gameplay experience. My last update today involves helping
Oh,
you
last
to achieve
update. That
sustainable
means we're
revenue
getting
growth
close.
in a
Every time one of these
fast-evolving app landscape.
revenue ad people
2021
steps
was a year of
aside,
significant change for app development.
that means we can actually
As
get
the
into
industry
some
evolved
Stadia
away
news.
from waterfall
Hopefully
animation
soon.
and shifted
Don't go
towards
anywhere,
in-app,
folks.
real-time
It was
bidding.
promised.
Access
We
to
don't know
a
how
diverse
long it
range
was
of buyers
promised.
can help you make the most of your unique inventory and deliver
But here we
higher
go.
earnings and eCPMs. Google AdMob supports many demand sources to help you earn
The word
more across
AdMob
real-time
makes me
bidding
think
and
of
waterfall
like a
reach.
group of people
To increase
who I feel like a
competition for your
literal mob of
inventory,
them.
we are
The
continuing to
AdMob
add
will show up
more
at your door
buyers
and
to
demand
the AdMob
revenue
platform
streams.
to help you earn even more. Currently, we have over 200 demand sources available for real-time bidding, including demand-side platforms from brand advertisers.
Would it be great if we could get
and
an ad
many
to
of
pop
the
up like
largest
right
ad
now, Richie?
exchanges
Just
globally.
at the bottom.
We're currently
For some people,
onboarding more
might.
buyers such as Bungle and Snap
I don't know if you got
to
ads
our
sent
bidding
on to the
solutions
stream or
to
not.
compete
Oh
in
no, I
real
have no
time
clue
for
what
your
I'm doing with that
impressions.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't been paying
We'll be
attention.
accelerating our efforts over the course of 2022.
You need AdMob.
I do need the
Today,
AdMob.
we shared new ways to help you acquire
You
valuable
did.
players
Thank
and
you for
maximize
sharing.
your app revenue growth
Yes.
for the long term. Belinda showed how the latest app campaign updates can help you to
She
acquire
did.
valuable players at scale and unlock more revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And I just shared how AdMob can help you to maximize
You
app
certainly
revenue growth
did.
by using LTV reporting, automated tools and formats, and diversified demand sources. We hope these updates can help you to continue accelerating growth for your games. Next, I'd like to introduce Jack from Google
Jack
Cloud
Buser.
to talk about how
It's
Cloud
Jackie
is helping
B.
game developers
But he doesn't work for
succeed at
Stadia
scale.
anymore.
You might still talk about them though.
Come on, Jack. Give us the good
Welcome
stuff.
to
There he
Games
is.
Planet Scale. My name is Jack Buser. I'm the director of game industry.
Now remember, this guy
Solutions
used to
Google
work for
Cloud.
Stadia before getting, in
I'm
theory,
here to
promoted
talk
to
you
head of
today
cloud
about
gaming
why
or
Google
something.
Cloud is great for games.
We're getting closer, everyone.
With 3 billion people.
Still might not be the
around
most
world
fun of
playing games
topics he's
today,
going to talk about,
nearly
but
half the
edging
planet
closer.
Counts themselves as players of some sort. Games are one of the world's biggest forms of entertainment, if not the biggest.
I'll say it's
And
the biggest
industry
form.
is growing so fast, with over 400 million new players expected to start playing games in the next few years. And this growth is coming from
this is
all
why
regions
we-
all over the world.
It is, you're right.
Demographics.
Just without the little S.
The reality,
Yeah.
nearly everyone today is born a gamer. To keep up with this
But
pace
this
of
is why we
change,
keep
game
saying
companies
that
really have
Stadia
two core
and
goals.
Amazon Luna
Number
and
one,
any other cloud
entertain
gaming
and delight
things that are in
players
such the
everywhere
infancy because, like you
and
said there, 400 million
understand those
gamers
players better.
forecast
Provide
over the
better
next several
experiences
years,
to the
so
players
there is
they
no
have,
rush.
and to
A
those
company like
they want to
Google, they
keep.
don't need to rush it. I know it
As
seems
game
bad
companies
sometimes,
work
but
towards their two
they
overarching
can
goals,
slow burn. By
they
the
need to
time
solve
those
for a
400
variety
gamers
of
are of
challenges.
age to be aware of
And
it,
here at Google,
the
we're here to
Stadia
help.
library could be like 500 games
First
big.
off, serving diversity.
Not great for us
Over
right now,
3
I know
billion
that,
players,
but
game
still.
companies need to serve the widest variety of players they've ever seen. Designing for and serving a diverse audience is crucial. How do you have deeper insights to serve these new audiences better? Retaining players. How do you retain the players that have already tried your game? Are you set up to leverage AI and ML to do so?
ML.
Manage consolidation. As game companies grow to meet this planet scale opportunity, they increasingly need to unify various data sets into one set of data that they can analyze and understand to develop
Surely
a
the best way to
single
retain players in your game is to make a good
360-degree
game.
view of their players.
I mean, that's the initial focus, I
Global
bet.
reach. With
Yeah.
players all over the world, a planet scale network with planet scale solutions is absolutely necessary. Player experiences. As games continue to push the boundaries of what's possible, Google has the cutting edge technology to enable this pursuit. Player to payer. Did you know that of the 3 billion players, only about half of them are paying for the games they experience? Google Cloud can help you encourage and convert these players to payers. Harnessing the capabilities of Google Cloud will help you reach more players and become more profitable. First, you get the best of Google. Our infrastructure and network can handle and process data at planet scale. Combine this with our leading AI and ML solutions. Game developers can unlock insights, offer recommendations, and power predictions.
Those
at
statistics
massive
should
scale
give you
for
like
truly
the
personalized
best
gameplay
foundation you
experiences.
could possibly have. 100 billion
And it's
hours of
all
content
done
consumed
on
on
the
your
cleanest
Prime Video
cloud
channel.
in the
3
industry.
billion active users on mobile
So that you
devices.
can meet this new
Yeah.
opportunity
It's almost like
responsibly.
too good to fail, and yet
You'll also get our in-depth
We never really know.
game
Haven't-
knowledge
It
and
feels like they haven't
opportunities.
figured out
From over
Stadia properly
100
yet.
billion hours of game-related watch time on YouTube
They
in
need to get
2020,
using AI,
we
machine
know
learning
what
to figure
players
out how to
want.
sell Stadia.
we leverage
they need to
data
watch
and
the
learnings
first 50 minutes
from
of this
the 3
presentation to
billion
realise
active Android
what they're
and
doing.
Google Play gamers, one of the world's largest game stores. And from all this, we have dedicated industry solutions that bring it all together for games within Google Cloud. Google Cloud is dedicated to building the technologies the
Cloud
game industry
mission.
needs to solve today's challenges and grow into the future. Our mission is simple. It's to help game companies transform to meet this new global opportunity with planet-scale solutions.
Planet
We've
scale.
organized this mission around 3 solution pillars. Engaging players and payers for the publisher, improving player experiences for the
Sounds
player,
like white label talk a
and
little bit, doesn't
scaling
it?
game production
Yeah.
for the developer.
Like, we're the best at the
We
tech.
focus on the
We
business
knew
objectives
that
most
anyway.
important
Like
to game
we
companies.
already know they've got a
Publishers
big
need to
focus on
optimize
Google Stream rather
profitability at
than
planet scale.
Stadia. So
We can help reach global audiences and meet these global needs. Google Cloud can help unlock player value.
Well, that's
with
the
a
reality. We
built-to-launch
obviously
suite
here
of
on the
game
channel
solutions
focus on Stadia,
and help maximize
but there's
the
so
value
many
of
developers
player
out there
data
who
to
maybe don't
improve
even
user
think twice
acquisition,
about
retention, and
the
even
games
monetization.
industry as we picture it, because there's such a bigger
Retention and
business
acquisition
industry at
are
large.
Key for game companies.
Yeah.
And we aim to meet a number of business objectives in this space. Let's work to reliably connect players together at scale with flexible, auto-scaling,
Clean
global
chat. I
matchmaking.
wonder if that's the same as Xbox's
We want
focus on
games to be fun,
cutting out
inclusive
abuse and
experiences. And we can help
stuff using
automate
machine
and
learning.
reduce toxicity
I think so,
and
because
harassment within
if
Right.
you
games.
think about it, if you get into
Finally,
multiplayer
these
games
experiences need to be secure.
and
The
the
need
chat
to
is
mitigate
toxic,
cheating
the
and
culture around is
downtime is
toxic, that
crucial.
you're just going
We can help.
regardless how good the game is, you're not going to stick
Developers
around.
have told us that their technology
And
needs
then
and
if you're a
business
parent as well,
objectives
you
are
don't want
often around
kids being,
reducing
like, exposed
operational
to all
toil
sorts of
and
horrible
decreasing time to market.
chat, keep it
Collaboration
clean.
amongst global talent is
watching you.
more important than ever before. We can help globalize content production at reduced cost. By simplifying and scaling infrastructure, we can improve security, access control, and deliver better telemetry data. Simple, scalable, global are key aspects to the games business, and we've developed fully managed, scalable databases and game server solutions to address this need. In summary, we've built game solutions that address the outcomes that we've heard our customers like yourselves
Dedicated
request from
servers,
us.
connect players at
And we've
scale.
started
Oh,
this journey with many of the top game companies around the globe.
Massive is still in there,
Here you can see
even though we're yet to
just
see
a sample
what their game
of
is.
the who's who of the games industry that are using Google Cloud today, and with many more
Niantic,
beyond this
Pokemon
list.
Go.
We couldn't be more proud to partner with these leading games companies on their transformation journey.
Isn't
to
Pokemon
meet
Go
this
based on
new
Google
global
Maps?
opportunity.
Yeah.
We've got
Which is
a
quite a
lot
unique
of great
application,
content
to
this
be
Google
honest,
for
so-
Games Summit this year. Be sure to check out more under our Cloud Games and Infrastructure track. If you're an eager developer itching to try something out, check out our open source cloud projects on GitHub.
GitHub.
And lastly, you can learn more about our solutions for games and get in contact with someone at our website. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Jack Buser, and now I'm going to pass it off to my longtime friend and colleague, Kareen, who's going to tell you the absolute latest about Stadia.
Yes! Here we go.
Hi everyone. Thank you so
Finally,
much for joining the Stadia keynote
Kareen,
today.
let's
And
see.
thank
What have you
to
got
all
for
of our
us?
partners and to
There's a
Stadia
Wasabi
players for your
controller,
ongoing
Richie.
support.
Confirmed.
I'm so happy to be here to share how we're making it easier for developers
Confirmed.
and publishers to bring their games to players faster than ever. We'll start with an overview of the significant changes we're making to grow discoverability
Yes.
of games on Stadia.
Tell us about
From
it.
there, we'll take a closer look at the latest tech tools and partner incentives available to you, making it easier and more rewarding than ever to bring your games to Stadia. Last, but definitely not least, we have a big update on the work we're doing to offer our streaming technology to customers who want to deliver their games directly to their players. So let's
Okay.
get started. When we introduced Stadia, we outlined one of our most important ambitions, to make it easier for players to discover and instantly play great games. That hasn't changed, and in the coming weeks you'll see some big changes in the Stadia
Oh,
store.
coming weeks.
We're making it possible for people to browse games in our
Oh,
store
there's
without
Risk of
needing
Rain,
to
like
log into
said in the
or
chat.
create a Stadia account. That means it will be easier for everyone to browse the 200 plus games we have to offer, in addition to more than 100 new titles arriving this year. It also will be easier for players to find Stadia game pages through Google Search, and for you, our partners, to bring players to your games through unique click-to-play links. In addition to making Stadia games more discoverable, we want to give you the option for players to find your game and immediately try it with no commitment.
So they're finally integrating
This is a
Stadia
new
with
feature
Google
I'm
it
really
more then.
excited about. Click-to-play trials enable players to try your full game on Stadia in seconds. Players can jump in and try your game without having to pay anything or even signing up for a Stadia account. Enabling your click-to-play trial is as easy as deciding how long the trial should last, with no additional developer work needed. We kicked off our click-to-play trials pilot phase last October with Hello Engineer, Control, Riders Republic, and the Jackbox Party Pack 8. In that first public test, we found that players are about 35% more likely to respond to a click-to-play trial promo
yeah, you can have
than
an
a
hour
traditional
free.
buy
You just
or
get the
claim
first hour or
message.
something.
Even better, we've seen that players who
Which is
complete a
interesting.
click-to-play trial and go on to purchase a game are
35% click-through
significantly
rate.
more engaged than those who convert through regular ads. We're continuing to fine-tune this feature following a great response from press, players, and our partners. And we
That's
will
brave to
expand
put some
access to
snippets
more
up from
games.
news
We
websites.
intend to offer click-to-play trials as an option for all partners and their games on Stadia in 2022, starting this month with a click-to-play trial of Risk of Rain 2.
And that's live now, according
So
to the
we've talked
chat.
about content discovery and trial. Now let's talk devices. Players can
I've seen this
already
slide
access
before.
games on Stadia via laptops, PCs.
This is from last
tablets,
year's
TVs,
presentation,
as
the
well as both
endpoints.
Android and iOS devices.
It's a
With the launch of Android
slide.
TV and LG Smart TV apps in 2021, we made Stadia available to tens of millions more living rooms. In addition, Samsung will bring the Samsung Gaming Hub to their 2022 smart TVs and monitors later this year, with plans to include the full Stadia TV experience. Discoverability is the key to a game's success, but the key to a successful gaming platform is its developer experience. We're continuing to build new tools and functionality
And
to
some
make
other
it easier
stuff.
than ever to bring your games to
Samsung,
Stadia.
like on a gaming
One
monitor,
of the ways we're
you can
doing
just
this
literally
is
go buy a
with
gaming
what we
monitor and
call
you're set to
low
go.
change porting. It has a simple goal with a big impact to significantly reduce time, effort, and resources required to bring your games to Stadia. Our low change porting initiative contains multiple components, from libraries that auto-translate DirectX, to improved Unity and Unreal support, to cloud-native playtest and QA workflows. Low change porting allows you to quickly
Oh,
get
there's
up
some
and running on
partners.
Stadia
Team
with lower
17 just
engineering
added
cost,
in.
less time to develop, and less time to launch in the Stadia store. We're testing these tools with a group
The
of
auto
partners
DirectX
and
is
expect to
probably
roll
the
them
biggest
out
part.
more broadly this year. In addition to making it easier to bring your games on Stadia, we want your partnership with Stadia to be more rewarding. We're continuing to boost player engagement and your ability to generate revenue through our partner incentive programs. Last year, we started giving 70% of our monthly subscription revenue back to Stadia Pro partners and increased the transactional rev share to 85% for all newly signed games. Our partners have seen very positive results from these programs, and they're talking about
Hey,
it.
Kickbash.
If you're interested in bringing your games to Stadia and participating, go to stadia.dev and apply. A few moments ago,
In
I let
community
you know we're making big
reception,
updates
that's
to
you
the
out
Stadia
there.
store that will enable anyone to browse your game page without needing a Stadia account. And during last year's keynote, I announced a new affiliate marketing program arriving in the first half of 2022. When you think about these updates together, things get more exciting. The affiliate marketing program enables participating publishers to earn additional revenue by bringing new players to Stadia with their unique click-to-play link. After using the link to create a Stadia account and enjoy a free month trial of Stadia Pro,
Wish they did this for
each
us,
player that
Richie.
converts to a paid
Yeah.
Pro subscription
Anyone who's checked out one of our
gets
videos and then
$10
clicks
paid
a
to
link.
publisher by Google. No other game platform does this,
Yeah, we get a
and after
kickback.
launching our pilot phase with a few
It'd be
initial
nice.
partners last December, we're excited about the insights we've already gained. As promised, we're planning on expanding access to the affiliate marketing program by June 2022. The reason our team is working so hard, and the reason I'm here speaking to you
There's your
today,
developer
is that
sessions,
we
folks.
know games are what makes a platform great, and we want to play your games on Stadia.
We
Be
do
sure
as
to watch
well.
our developer sessions after today's keynote, where some of my favorite members of the Stadia team will detail more technical innovation they've been working on. And don't forget to visit stadia.dev to apply to become a Stadia developer and access many of the programs we've talked about. As you can see, there's a lot of work going into improving Stadia to support the success of our partners, and that work will continue. We've also been expanding our efforts to help customers take advantage of our platform technology and deliver games directly to players. Our first step was to define our product in collaboration with expert partners across Google, with the goal of offering everything our customers need to build, launch, and optimize a direct-to-consumer business based on incredible streaming technology that enables gameplay on as many screens as possible. We're creating solutions that work for a range of games, use cases, and customers. But it's not just platform technology. In line with the Stadia efforts we've just discussed, we're working on tools for quicker and cheaper porting, powerful discovery features like click-to-play trials, all combined with insightful analytics that will help you optimize your marketing across all of Google and beyond. So in partnership with our colleagues at Google Cloud, we've developed a new offering called Immersive Stream for Games. It's designed around all the needs we've just described: advanced streaming technology, the right tools to port games easily, powerful discovery features, and the analytics you need to optimize a direct-to-consumer business.
All right, so they've rebranded Google
Last
Stream.
year, we began to work with early customers to understand their goals and to pilot this new offering. There are so many ways we can work with
that's
you
just
to
a
provide your
program within
experiences
it.
directly to players,
Yeah, I
from
suppose.
trials to full games, to subscription bundles, or even
Subscription
entire storefronts.
bundles. Okay.
Our first
There we
customer
go.
to launch a game on Immersive Stream was AT&T.
Yeah, there goes
At Google, we've
Batman.
enjoyed an innovative and collaborative relationship with AT&T for a long time. Together, we enabled AT&T to offer subscribers the ability to play a rock-steady masterpiece,
Not
Batman
your Stadia
Arkham Knight,
players,
in
though.
full, for free, all powered by Immersive Stream technology. And here's AT&T's Vice President of 5G Product and Innovation, Jay Carey, to tell you more.
Okay.
On behalf of AT&T, I'd like to congratulate Google on the reveal of Immersive Stream for Games. This technology, paired with the AT&T network, gives us the ability to deliver games directly to customers. Together, we deliver click-to-play
It's
access
weird
to
because they're
Batman
going, oh,
he's a reason
to bring your game to Stadia and make it easy for you. It's like, but if you don't want to, you can just do it yourself.
For
Yeah.
the first time, the game is available with no downloads, no creating an account, and no passwords. Simply provide your AT&T phone number and start
I was going to
playing
say, if
yourself.
you're in the United States
The full
and you're an
game
AT&T
is available
customer,
via your browser, complete with bonus content, cloud-based progress saves, and picture-perfect quality.
That's the advantage of like a
1080p
proper gaming
and
service,
60 frames per
like
second.
PlayStation or even
Thousands of our
Google
customers have
Stadia
already
is.
enjoyed this Batman Arkham
You don't
Knight
have to be an
experience so far,
AT&T
and
customer
we're preparing for the launch of
use
our
it.
next title on the Immersive Stream
our
platform.
next title.
At the same time, we'll be expanding access for our
Do we think
customers to
Gotham
play on
Knights or
mobile
Suicide
devices,
Squads?
whether they're at home or on the go. And we think our customers are going to love it, especially when they're
don't
playing.
know,
on
could
You
their
got Lego
AT&T
Star Wars,
devices.
could be anything
Could be
Warner
a
Brothers,
Lego
really.
game.
Excited
Lego game
to
would
see
be a
how
good
this
shout,
opens up a
actually.
world of marketing and
Middle
business
Earth.
possibilities
There one around there?
for both game publishers and game
Sort of.
platforms.
As of,
Yeah, I'm thinking if they'd rather go
You'll hear
back
more
or
about Immersive
forward,
Stream
though.
over the next few months.
I think
and as Jay mentioned, AT&T subscribers can
going
look forward to
forward
playing
might be
another
smart,
great game
actually.
powered
You know,
by Immersive Stream.
if they're
in the
trying
near
to sell
future.
AT&T, like
If you're
an
interested
AT&T
in
mobile
bringing games
coverage, you go,
direct
oh,
to consumers,
check
via
the site,
Immersive
Richie.
Stream,
You get
we want to hear
this.
from you. Just visit this link to get started. So that's all from us today. To recap, we're continuing to bring you tools and features to make it easier and more rewarding for you to bring your games to Stadia. We want to play those games on Stadia, so please visit stadia.dev and apply. We were excited to share more about Immersive Stream for Games today. We've made great strides so far and are looking forward to helping even more customers
Okay.
bring their games directly to players this year. If you'd like to talk to us about offering games direct to consumers via Immersive Stream,
I'd like to talk to them
please visit this
about
link.
offering games direct to
And with
consumers,
that,
specifically
we've reached the
Stadia
end of
players.
This year's Google for Games Developer Summit keynote. From mobile to the cloud, there's an enormous opportunity to build awesome experiences for gamers.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you're as excited as we are to work together to bring your vision to life and reach billions of players around the world. On behalf of all of our presenters, thanks for tuning in today. As part of the Dev Summit, check out our developer sessions available now in the
Right.
mobile or cloud games and infrastructure tracks. Find the full agenda at the
g.co/game
link
dev
here.
summit.
We'll see you
Remember
next
that,
time.
Richie. See you next time. Right, so that has been the brief end of the developer summit, but as we said, there are set videos for us to go and check out now. So let's see, Richie. See what we've got. Now, Google developer, is that the link? Tune in there. Now they did put a playlist up last time. Play testing made easy on Stadia. 15th of March, that's today. Right. Do you want to get your video lined up, Richie?
Yeah, can you just drop me a link somewhere so I can just click through
Oh,
it? Save me finding it myself.
there's a whole playlist.
Is there? Where?
It's literally on the Google Developers YouTube channel.
I'm not on YouTube. I'm watching it through the Games for Google website.
I'll get yourself over to the YouTube link. I'll even drop it in the chat for everybody else. Actually, no, I'm not going to drop it in the chat because that just means they'll go watch it there instead of staying with us. Right, folks. let's have a look, see what we've got going here. So we've got, let's see, we've got play testing made easy on Stadia. We've got less time porting, certifying, more time creating. Are these all the Google ones?
I just went into videos and we've got performance profiling solutions on Stadia, Stadia Ventures in slow server code and Unity, how to write Windows emulator for Linux.
Right. Do you want to look? Let's watch should we look at the Embark Studios one first?
Which one is that?
It's how Embark Studios utilizes open source backend tech. Because this is where we thought Arc Raiders may be coming to the platform. Actually, that's not really Stadia specific.
Yeah, I can't even see it.
If you go to the Google developers YouTube page,
yeah,
they've uploaded several videos as of 16 minutes ago.
I can't see the Embark Studios one.
It's got 9 views. It's got 25 videos in the playlist. It's got the keynote, which we just watched, and then several other videos. Where should we go first, chat? Where should we go first? Let's see. Some more foldable devices. Don't know about that. Google Play games on PC. We don't want to know about that. How to write a Windows emulator from Linux from scratch. That's one of them. Stadia Adventures in a slow server code on Unity, or performance profiling solutions on Stadia. You found it yet, Richie?
No, I'm getting different videos to use, weird.
Right, well, let's find... our
It's the
chat.
Google developers YouTube page, isn't it?
It's in the chat, Richie. If I hit send. The admin for Discord, that is.
Yeah.
Right. Where do we want to start at, folks? Where do we want to start at? Developer news. What do you think, Richie? What do you think?
I'm not sure. Then Jin's in for adventure.
An adventure. Okay, Stadia Adventures in slow server code on Unity. Let's go that.
Stadia Adventure in slow server.
Hi, I'm Scott Wardle, Senior Software Engineer
Scott
on
Wardle.
Google Stadia. I'm ex-EA, ex-FIFA,
ex-EA and
ex-Frostbite.
FIFA.
I've been in games a long time, but these days I'm working on high-performance C# code as I am the Unity lead on Google Stadia. I was having this problem with Stadia Adventures sample. It was a good opportunity for me to learn Burst and Jobs, which are great technologies to speed up your code. With that, I had to create a sample to understand these two technologies. And what I learned from that was I was able to separate Burst from Jobs, and that was a really powerful tool for me. I'll talk about my results from that and summarize things up. So let's take a look at
1 minute in, Richie, if you're trying to keep up.
I have Stadia Adventures, which is a Unity title, but it also had a dedicated server as well. These two things just come from different worlds. Unity is well known in the gaming community and is well understood by many game programmers, and so they really like to use it. If you build and run, and it'll just happen on Android as easily as it happens for Stadia instances, and deploys and runs right there. Working in dedicated servers is just a different way of working. You end up having to learn technologies like Docker and Kubernetes.
What's he got on his windowsill?
It's just a different
There's like two little thank you things with the Stadia logo on.
Maybe we should just move that dedicated
On the guy's
system
windowsill.
over to the Unity side. I mean, we're already running in the cloud anyways. What difference does it make? And so running it as a separate thread actually worked really well. There's some cool tricks you can do with Unity too here. You can just drag and drop a DLL into it, and it converted it for us. It was quite nice. We still had to, get rid of one of the two build systems here, but that was a pretty easy problem.
This is where,
The
Richie,
really interesting thing
I like to pull Tom away
when we
from
tried to
parent,
debug,
baby,
we
maternity,
couldn't
marriage,
but then we
teaching
realized that
responsibilities.
all we were missing is the symbols.
Yeah.
As soon as we
Contextualize
copied over the
this.
symbol files. Suddenly, my performance dropped through the floor. It was like 2 frames a second, really slow, surprisingly bad. I mean, I was running like 13 milliseconds a frame beforehand, but after this, it was like 600.
So it's then when they're copying code over,
Really, it turns out that most of the
there's
problem
something
is
in the
this
program, and
broad
that's
phase collision check
slowing it
function.
down.
Yeah.
This broad phase collision check function was 4 times slower once we added in.
I bet it's something
the
really
extra
daft
symbols.
as well.
So
And
this
it's
was
always
pretty
something really
surprising.
daft.
But you know, it's only 4 times slower. We had lots of threads. Maybe we could just use some more cores and brute force it. It turns out that this wasn't going to work for us. As more threads I added
What
to
he's
this,
talking there is
the
like
slower the
basic
code
CPU
got.
performance.
That
So
was really
it's from
strange.
more of basically his
It
CPU or
turns
GPU
out
at the
what was
problem, and
happening
it
is
made the problem
there's
worse
this
rather than
check
better.
sequence
Yeah.
point function,
Which is weird.
that was getting slower and slower. And inside that function, there was like one instruction called compare and exchange that was making things really bad. I've seen this before, and this is an atomic operation. And like all my samples for Orbit were basically right there. The thing I didn't understand was why this check sequence point was everywhere throughout my code until I talked to Unity. And Unity explained to me that basically they have a cooperative debugger. And so any place that you can put a breakpoint, or, you know, sometimes multiple times on a line, you're going to have one of these pieces of code generated in. You know, this is the place where the debugger gets its chance to do something. Anyways, this meant that it was really slow and slowed it down things much more than we were expecting. After talking to Unity, though, we came up with a better fix. Basically, instead of using compare and exchange, you can use load relaxed, which is a different type of memory barrier. And if you get this fix from Unity, your performance will be 4 times faster, at least in a really bad case that I stumbled into. But you might find different things in your own code. Now, we're done, right? 4 times faster, great. Well, yeah, the code wasn't perfect yet, and we were still dropping frames in various situations.
This is always the
from
stuff that
before.
just amazes me with
We
video
just
games, how
fixed
like it's
one of the
all
problems.
just numbers and letters, and then they
weirdly, though,
somehow
we tried our
translate to
master
a
build.
It's all
150-hour
ones
Assassin's Creed experience
It was just
with beautiful
you know,
rendered like
sort of
images, graphics,
debug
combat.
these release
So much stuff,
developments that were
and it's all streamed
too
to our
slow.
screens. Just
It would be really nice to fix
using
them
the
and have
power
them so they
of
weren't
Wi-Fi.
dropping frames, and you know, in some
And light.
scenes they weren't that fast because you know, debug builds for a sample is probably the way most of the people are going to run them. They're not going to really make master builds of these things very often. One thing that we also didn't understand was, are people going to take this fix from Unity right away? We didn't really know that, so it was hard for us also to include the PDB file and fix the 2 build systems and other things that we kind of wanted to do here to make things easier to work with. Therefore, I thought this might be a good opportunity for me to learn about burst and jobs. Unity's job system is just a way of multi-threading code by creating jobs. Basically, you get one, you know, a thread per core, a worker thread per core, and then you can allow these worker threads to pick up jobs off of a queue. And all these jobs is you know, a function pointer and some data. So it's quite a normal way of setting things up, and I've seen them quite a few times in my career, these sort of job systems. The other technology that Unity has, which is quite unique to Unity, is the burst compiler. This is a separate C# compiler. It uses a limited subset of C# though, so you can't use everything, but it builds directly to native code. And what this means, at least for this particular discussion,
Nope.
is you're not
I'm
gonna be able
stroking
to
my
use the
beard,
managed
pretending
debugger,
to learn.
Yeah.
which means you don't have sequence pointers anymore, which also means your code is probably going to go much
I'm
faster.
guessing it's
That doesn't mean you
taking
can't debug
the
this
game code that's
You can
designed
still
in the
debug it
Unity
the same
engine
way, you would
and feeding it
debug,
through to Stadia,
C++
and this is where the issues come
with the
in.
native debugger.
But then he's
and
lost
This
me.
actually works better than it does normally with Unity apps You don't have to debug IL to CPP output. You will be able to debug, your normal C# looking code. One thing that does take a little bit of work, though, is you only are allowed to use a limited.
If any of you experts out there can condense this into like 3 bullet points,
you're not allowed to use classes. You have
we'd
to use
appreciate
structs,
that.
And structs are
Definitely.
This is stuff that I need to go away, read, and we need to come back, regroup on the podcast this week.
Not being able to use classes.
I'm not sure I'll
as best we can.
to talk about this properly in the podcast.
Episode 130 will condense it down into some bullet point moments.
List T or something like that. Also, memory allocation and stuff in using the burst compiler, you have to be careful because you're going to end up allocating memory on the heap. So there's an interesting relationship between burst and jobs and the C# runtime. If you look for samples of burst code, you'll always be seeing it used with jobs at the same time. You would think they could only be run together or something, but really they're just like, peanut butter and chocolate. They're just good together.
I understood that bit.
The only problem with this
Peanut
is
butter
you have to
and chocolate.
redesign your code to run with either one of them. If you're going to deal with multi-threading problems for jobs, you're going to have to copy all your data, make sure it's not shared. And with burst, you have a different set of problems, right? You can't use classes and that sort of thing. One thing that's true for both of them, though, is they both use memory in a different way. And so you end up having to either pin memory in the garbage collector, or you have to use memory on the heap or something like that. But if you do that, then you can use managed code on a job separately, and that is actually possible. Let's see an example of the code, because I think it's always more concrete.
Visually stimulating with an idea.
So,
oh, word. This is, you remember when we played Creator with Tom, and he was like, just type in exe.this, and that'll bring up a menu, and that'll allow you to put an asset in, and then do open bracket 245, close bracket, degree symbol, all this, and it was just like all that, and we made like a fire.
Destroy these objects.
It genuinely is like the Matrix.
Or start to set them up.
Yeah, you get faster at it.
Asynchronous function.
I'm sure it's a language unto itself.
And this is the
It
thing
literally
that's
is.
going to be run on a job. When you boot
And
up,
there's different
they're gonna
coding
maybe put
languages
it in
as
your
well.
await function, or on your destroy, you're going to have to free up all of your objects. These is just working with those native arrays I showed you in the previous slide. On the update, so maybe every frame or something like that, you'll kick these jobs off, and then they'll start running asynchronously, eventually updating once those job threads are freed. And to make sure they got finished at some point, maybe at late update, you can complete.
So you said it was slowing down because
free up all
jobs were stacking up
temporary memory.
somehow, like they weren't closing down properly. It sounds like.
Yeah, I think from what I understood, which is very little admittedly, when the code was ported across, it was the debugger was kind of
I've already
activating
threaded this code before, so it was pretty easy to move over to
not well optimized times, and that was massively slowing things. So it was trying to debug things
wasn't allowed
when it should have been just rendering frames.
So this was disappointing.
So the
and I
debug
wasn't
was just
really
kind of
sure
getting in the
what I
way.
was going to do, because I don't really want to run it on the main thread. My main thread is doing a bunch of other work. It's doing all the rendering and AI for the client and things. Maybe I could just move everything to a job. That works
just say
pretty well.
bypass the problem.
Move the whole server tick to a job, but when I tried to kick off, this collision code, that didn't work either. Apparently, you're not allowed to make a job from a job. So
Well,
that's too bad.
you've built a nice high wall of
I'm
collisions
kind of back
there.
to the
It's
drawing
hard to
board.
get over it.
I had to explain to my team that this is all going to.
It's crazy thing. This is like the conversations that happen. Like you have to go to your boss and say, like, the game isn't running because
Well, you
of
can see that
X,
obviously
Y,
I'm
Z.
making this, these slides. So obviously, I continued to work on it.
His bosses went, right, you go
But
away,
also at
figure
this
it out,
point, we decided
basically.
we should make a
That's
test
funny,
app so
and
we
make this
understand
presentation.
this technology better.
Yeah, how do I justify it? I do a presentation.
Small model of your
You've earned
The
your
thing
money
is, at the
today.
moment, when he's talking to his boss and goes,
this is a good way to
fine,
go.
you can do it, but you have to present it as like,
There's kind of what
Yeah.
my test apps sort of look like. I mean, each row here is like some set of threading technology, and each box is like one thread on that. So like the top row is just no threads. The next row was
Generating
using
textures.
the task system from Microsoft, which is like Microsoft's sort of job system. Then I used Unity's job system. And this got me sort of an idea of, what was the performance differences between these systems. And then as I sort of went down further and tried more complex things to understand what I could do, because I was trying to figure out like how to, run this burst job with my other managed code of the server thread. So, maybe it sort of looked like this, I was thinking as a model. So I tried out, situations like that, like run a little managed job, then, some other job, then another one to sort of clear it all up. But this isn't quite the right model. This is too simple. If you look at the code in more detail, the server tick looked
that'll do it.
Started off, the server tick ran for a little while, then it hits the physics system. The physics system is not running at 60 hertz like the rest of the server tick is. It's running at 300 ticks. So, it's looping through 5 times with a little delta t and moving along like this. And I wanted to put that broad phase collision check right in the middle of that and call it 5 times. And so this was looking complicated to do this with jobs. So I didn't know what to do again. But fortunately, I know a few people at Unity, and I talked to somebody on the jobs team about my problem. And he said, oh, hey, you know that you can use burst compile function pointer, right? And I'm like, no, I didn't know that at all. And so apparently you can separate burst out and not use it with the jobs.
Kevin single-handedly fixed Unity ports within Stadia.
You don't have to worry about solving this, having your code running.
Now we just need to get them on the CryEngine, Frostbite, Snowdrop.
Sorry, Kevin, you
Unreal.
Need you on a different engine.
And therefore you're going to have to pass in all of the context somehow as a pointer. The easiest way to do this is
unsafe code, very worried, very scared. Turned out not to be a big deal.
A little bit, but it turned out that wasn't much of a big deal.
That's funny.
Of course, I couldn't asynchronize.
It's funny when you see non-business speak in
a bunch of threads,
like a professional presentation.
I didn't really need that speed for this. I just wanted to get rid of all of that debugging information. But the real thing that I struggled with compile function pointer was there's just not that much documented on it. There's not as many samples and things, and I couldn't find anything that was the level of complexity of even my sample app. So I had to trial and error to figure out how to work on it. This is the code I came up with. So to start, I have sort of 2 objects. My first one was some managed code that would own my burst call code below. And there's like a garbage collected handle to make sure that the burst call didn't get freed. And there was the function pointer that I was talking about. The burst call itself started looking a lot like...
It's a shame with it. Obviously, you couldn't do it because of probably the game specific, but it's a shame he doesn't have like which particular game
had the same sort of native
he was using to do this to port.
This was
I think they just made it very simple. Well, not too simple.
Then I had to
it wasn't a game, so to speak. It was just
basically
he's a little bit of soft program.
Just takes in one parameter, which will be
I'll use my experiments.
But getting that burst call and turning that pointer into...
I'd imagine at some point you did run it through a game.
I mean, yeah, otherwise you don't know if it's really going to...
You do small scale once you kind of, I think I've cracked this. Give me Assassin's Creed.
Just dereference the 0th element and then kind of like cast it into place. And then from there you can call into normal safe call code again, update all your native arrays. On the managed side of things, you're going to create all those native arrays again. I then had to pin this data, though, and this was a bit surprising in that it ends up making a copy, a shallow copy of my data. So it didn't copy the image data, but it did copy a bunch of pointers and sizes. And I'll talk about that a bit more later. I have to make the function pointer, of course. This was fairly easy to do. A little long, but other than that, it was fine. There was managed code to run every frame. Then I could call my function pointer and pass in that pinned object data I was talking about. And then, I could finish off the frame with some more managed code. So I just wanted to talk a little bit more about creating these this burst call and why I ended up with an extra copy of it. Burst calls are structs, so they're value types. So usually when you create a value type, you can kind of do this, fairly easily, just like anything else. In managed code, you new these native arrays and then pass in, them and set them to sizes so that they're big enough to have my image data. But when I pinned them, because they are a value type, it ended up having to make a copy of them. This doesn't mean I made a copy of the image data. I just made a copy of the actual native arrays themselves, which are just some pointers inside.
Ah, yes.
So that isn't too big of a cost, but it is a bit of information that you need to know about because it might change things on how you use it, right? When you call into the burst function, though, you're using a reference again, and the reference points to the pinned version because that's the one that's never going to move. Where the one from the first step,
there's a lot of terminology thrown out, like just so casual, like, oh yeah, the call my move. Like, what does that mean?
Turns out you free the first one, and you're just going to call dispose on that, and that'll free it up. And then you can.
And this is where you realise that this is really targeted towards people who know their role and their job.
If you tried to free,
we just play the games, Richie, and talk about them.
What you would end up getting is this error. I'm guessing there's just a system here that makes sure that you're not freeing things twice because they have two sets of pointers pointing to the same data. So they just force you to do it one way or the other. So results. It looks like I got the speed that I was thinking of by removing the sequence points. I did get 10x faster. In burst for the master builds as well, this was faster too. I think the speed gain here was because I would improve the caching situation because I had to copy data out of
I'm with you on that one. I had that. I think the tech from the ones we've tested and used, I think, definitely hands down the best one.
Smaller, better organized data for the particular problem I was solving. For raindrop, I also got pretty good gains. It wasn't quite as much of a difference for the release development build, so the debug data maybe wasn't quite as much of a problem. The master build here got 1.7 times faster as well, but how it ended up doing it is a bit
whatever
different.
This guy is doing talking about is working indeed.
Because I didn't have to reorganize the data in this case. They were working with image data in both cases, so the shape of the data, the caching of it, shouldn't have changed. But obviously it's generating better code still. So just to summarize things up here, development builds can be made much faster in Unity. So if you're having a problem with your debug builds, one, get a fix from Unity. That might make it five times faster.
Problems with your builds in Unity. Speak to Unity.
And the other
make sure you write down that code.
2020.3.26. Particular places, and you might get another 5 to 10x there. If you ever do have complex problems like I was, maybe making a test app, as long as you don't simplify your problem too much, that you're solving a different problem, that's always a good idea. Finally, the real takeaway from this whole presentation is burst and jobs can be used separately. You can decouple these two systems, and all you have to do if you want to use burst by itself is use compile function pointer.
Jensen, I do think if you get into this, it means the port's not going to be easy.
A little bit about
that's why he's doing it, and so to make it easy for other people.
Note that you might make an extra copy of your data, but it's only a few pointers and sizes, at least in my case, but it is something to be careful of. Finally, last but not least, the real trick here is you're going to need to use like read array element to cast your context data into a reference of your class type, so you don't have to be dealing with void data anymore. One other thing that I wanted to talk about was that you can call managed code from a job, and this is pretty easy to do. You do have to do some garbage collected pinning, but you'll be pinning a class in this case, so anything that class references will also be fine. So that works really well. There is some samples on the web that do this, and so I didn't really talk about it too much here. So anyways, thank you very much for listening to my presentation, and I will try and post the code samples for this soon.
GitHub.
Thank you very much.
There you go, Richie. Go check out that link.
No, I don't think I will.
No,
it's well beyond my level.
Yeah, of knowledge.
Considering I'm someone who has never studied coding before.
Right. So let's jump back to the playlist, see what we've got. That was a Stadia adventure, ladies and gentlemen. For better or for worse, if you've understood it. We've got performance profiling solutions, Stadia adventure watch, how to write a Windows emulator for Linux from scratch, or playtesting made easy. What do you think?
I'm thinking playtesting.
Playtesting made easy. Let's dive in.
I've got a feeling it's going to be less intense.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
The Windows emulator one.
Let's go. Playtesting made easy.
Good afternoon and welcome to
Ian
Playtesting
Bartley.
Made Easy on Stadia. My name is Ryan Bartley.
Oh, he's got his clear controller in the background, the show off.
Focused on the developer experience. Today we're going to cover
Had to empty thing everything out of his living room.
Happy Cloud Gamer said he's in shock why it's hype from Stadia gamers. I don't think they're trying to hype it up. I think they've recently done some community surveys. I think one of the takeaways was people want to know what's going on behind the scenes.
Into how these features and others
can
be used
here
to automatically and efficiently scale your development and playtesting efforts. And finally,
it's an odd one. It's kind of when PlayStation did their kind of technical breakdown of the PS5, and they had Mark Cerny on stage, and he had like the graphical blueprints of the PS5 up on screen, and he was talking about the different multi-processors and that, and the different cores, and everyone was watching, and all you saw in the chat was, "Where's God of War? Where's God of War?" And it's kind of you can't really win either way.
Yeah.
Our developers and publishers.
This is what I expected from this, to be honest.
Heard from partners that there were a few consistent challenges.
I thought maybe the AT&T thing may have revealed something new, but all we really know is AT&T customers are getting another game, which is great if you're in America and you're an AT&T customer. But again, what they need to do off the back of all this developer stuff for me is follow it up with a consumer-based thing.
Yeah,
it's all well and good pointing us in this direction for now, but you need to follow up with something for us, the average gamer out there who's invested in your platform. Otherwise, yeah, the virtual anger will build again, right?
Well, that's it. Yeah, when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter how many developers get involved if you don't get any consumers on board.
Yeah. Because this is great. You've got comments from 9to5 Google and GamesIndustry.biz about amazing solutions. But again, I want to be reading articles on The Verge and Games Industry saying about how this AAA game is launched day and day and it runs fantastic.
Yeah.
Like the Cyberpunk stories that were out there. But that was over a year ago now, so...
There's something to be said for things like when IGN do like roundups of what games are coming out and just having, and it's coming to Stadia and Stadia and Stadia, just having the word Stadia pop up across releases across the board.
A pretty simple concept. Briefly, it's
the more people hear it and associated with actual games they're interested in, the more people likely try it out.
But the real power comes from the fact that
all the stuff we're looking at tonight is kind of, this will help developers make the decision to put things on Stadia, because the easier it is, the more likely they are to do it.
Yeah. Just like gamers, it's the more convenient, the least path of resistance you can make for devs and gamers, the better for everybody.
So much of the time spent updating or downloading new content. So we knew we had something special to offer, and by focusing on the simplicity of the player experience, utilizing our distributed cloud infrastructure, and leaning into what already made development on Stadia so special, we could make a lot of improvements across a wide spectrum of user journeys. To detail those improvements, first,
I think I'm with you on that front, Dan.
Yes, I totally get why Google are doing it, because it helps recover some of the development costs. It opens up new revenue stream for this technology they've got, but it means there's less reason for Stadia to exist.
You know what? I wouldn't mind it if we got the games that were going white label day and day. Like, it runs on the tech, so yes, you can. If you're an AT&T customer, get it free over here. If you're a Stadia gamer, buy it for £20 or get it at a discount on Pro.
That was my take with Batman when that came to AT&T. Is that this should come alongside a port to Stadia. Like, yes, you can use our tech. Part of the deal is you bring the to our commercial platform.
That has to be a conversation that had happened, whether it's like a timed exclusive. I mean, AT&T said it was like a test, so maybe, you know what, when they announce whatever this new game is they've just said, it might be day and date, it might be play it for free or play it here. But it's incredibly disappointing if the games that they're running on the tech don't ever come to the platform where people want to buy them.
The hardware's done, the porting is done.
It's just send the link to a different storefront. That's literally all you're doing.
It goes fair in that you just, because I'm not an AT&T customer, I can't be. They're not in the UK. But if part of the deal was to bring Batman to Stadia, I might purchase that game and AT&T get some money off me.
Yeah, it seems like a win-win, right?
Interest, yeah.
Real-time statistics, logs, and artifacts easily available to your entire team to help increase the overall context of issues you might encounter while developing and testing.
Yeah, I don't think it will, like a game being like white label will never come. I just think it's in Google's best interest to say it has to come.
Now let's briefly step through each of these components in a little bit more detail.
I wish we get on a channel, like a moderated user list. Like if they did like a content creators channel, which would be nice if us and Brian and Stadia Source team and Meg and all those people who've supported them from day one actually get like access to play this stuff.
CLI or Visual Studio,
we'll be
whichever
testers.
tool they use most to their player endpoint of choice. Reducing this friction enables your team to have a better understanding of the full player experience.
And we've said that the tech behind the scenes is great for devs, especially with flexible working and working from home, because this kind of stuff just means they can do all their work how they need to and then boot up another version to test while they're running their actual like debug version.
It's something to be said that means that people don't have to relocate to change game studios as well. So I think
when the game is live,
a lot of it helps, like, with just generally working the more global scale when it comes to gaming.
Yeah.
You can hire an artist from Japan to work on games that gets produced in Canada.
Project Dance Game, Richie, confirmed.
Oh no.
Dance Game. Dan, if you're still in the chat, there it is, right there, look. Project Dance Game, confirmed, being worked on.
This set of artifacts is also easily expanded.
Purple Haze, you're very welcome, and thank you for joining us as we try and make head or tail of all this technical developer jargon.
To quickly solve it. Building out Test Hub to represent both live and historical game run data.
Yeah, maybe one. It might be a timed exclusive for the white label stuff.
Yeah, hopefully.
Need to do their job. Now, finally, Channels expands on your ability to
quickly scan screenshot for new games. Anything new, I'm like, yeah. What is it?
Is entirely controlled by you. This allows you to expand your alpha and beta tests far beyond your normal friends and family. Regardless,
that's clearly a fake screenshot because some of the pro games aren't claimed.
This allows you to also even expand.
Yeah, why would
games?
Is it pro discounts though? It's not pro games.
Oh, the pro discounts are.
Yeah.
All right. Now that we've talked about all these features, let's see them in action and how they can scale your playtesting efforts. First, we'll start at the command line. In most cases, teams are producing new content.
Lee, yes, Elden Ring is coming to Stadia. So is Elden Ring 3.
Or updates to game functionality and binding.
Game of the Century edition.
As we just spoke, packages really allow
I was thinking, I wasn't looking at the chat then when you said that, and I'm just thinking, what? Why are you saying that out loud? No, we've had no game announcement. The only thing we've got near to a game announcement, Lee, is AT&T's deal in the United States will be bringing another game later this year. Don't know what it is. Might be one of the Arkham
not
games.
For Stadia. More likely just white label.
Yeah.
Setting this automation up is an integral first step in unlocking the power of develop anywhere, collaborate everywhere.
But we do have a SideQuest episode in the pipeline for the next few weeks. If anyone's watching at home doesn't know, our SideQuest show is where we go off the critical path from Stadia talk and talk about cloud gaming and the general kind of general feeling for everything at the moment. And I think we've said by the time we hit end of spring or start of spring proper, there's definitely a discussion that needs to be had about the list of games that have not came out this year, Elden Ring being one of them.
Or even executives. Anyone who just
and Dance Game, Daniel. Let's not forget Dance Game.
to get a better.
I mean, dance game container around for Stadia.
Worm game, dance game.
Taxi game from the mobile.
Taxi City, Richie. Don't disrespect its name. It was Taxi City.
Don't even need to download an SDK to play and test their daily builds. The tester could simply access the partner portal from their phone using their developer account, execute a launch, and begin playing the build instantly using either their Chromecast or even the same phone they executed the launch from. But what about the data from those tests? Well, like we said earlier, Game Runs captures much of the data your game produces in real time and makes that data available to your whole team.
Yeah, it's almost like a chicken and the egg scenario, isn't it, Richard? We've said before, where because it's not big enough, it doesn't get the eyes from the developers on it, and because it doesn't get the eyes of the developers, it in turn doesn't get the big games because it's not monetarily viable. It just doesn't make them enough money. So then there needs to be a change somewhere. We've always said time and time again, that's where Google should really get out the checkbook to make it. However, from a business standpoint, it's all, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can only drop 10 million on Capcom so many times to make ports of games. Which, what's the next best thing? And it's making the tech as easily accessible, as easy accessible as possible to reduce those barriers so that developers want to actively port and have enough revenue streams, which then will grow.
If it's a lot easier for your devs to bring stuff over, the more likely to do it, because otherwise, the more complicated it is, the longer it's going to take, the more people you have to throw at the problem, which is revenue, that's money. They could be doing something else.
Users that really need to change
it all comes to everything from patches and stuff, generally supporting the game, so it's...
Yeah, and it sucks as a consumer who's been playing it for in the third year now. But again, they said earlier in the presentation, the keynote is like there's 400 million people who are yet to be classed as players or gamers. In 5, 6, 7 years' time, when the library's 300, 400, 500 games strong, and the development tools are so easy, and we might start seeing games day and date, and all the Batman games might be there. Like, do we? It's a shame, but do we matter as the early adopters of this tech? Do we matter in the 10-year plan for this platform? I don't think they care that much, but I don't think they need to from a business standpoint because they've clearly pivoted towards this model.
To keep it going, because without the early adopters, which we still are in the early adoption phase, it won't survive through that growth. So they need to have enough there to keep enough people on board for them to have a reason to keep going.
Yeah, they need to satiate us somehow. And this is again back to what I was saying earlier on: is it's all well and good having these developer things, but they need to come out and speak to us as consumers in the next few months. Because if we get to E3 again this year, Summer Games Fest, and another Ubisoft conference passes, and there's barely any sign or a trickle of good games, good quality AAA games coming, then how long is anyone interested for?
Yeah, I mean, I think they've definitely slowed down their plans for growth. I think the first year, maybe year and a half, they were quite aggressive.
Yeah.
Didn't get enough players on board. I think cloud gaming in general is quite stigmatized. And we know from our first year of doing podcasting how many people were bringing up the fact of data caps in America.
Yep.
Like that's going to stigmatize cloud gaming in general.
Since the client is also headless,
I think they've now focused on a more of a slow burn growth. Let's focus on the tech. Absolutely get the tech as pristine as we possibly can, while let the platform grow a bit more naturally.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sucky as a consumer. I want you to throw money at it and get...
Yeah. I want you to be aggressive. I want you to spend 20, 30, 40 million on acquiring big titles. Like how much, if they'd have went to From Software and said, oh, this Elden Ring game you're working on, it's got a lot of hype. How much? How much to acquire some devs, make a little mini port team, or allow us to buy or pay a porting team to do it? How much? And if they came back and went, 15 million. Again, if you've got aggressive plans for growth, then loads of people could be talking about Elden Ring right now without a 50 gig download. Playing it on their phone, playing it on their tablet, playing it on their PC. And that didn't happen. And it didn't happen. It doesn't look like it's happening with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. It didn't happen with WWE 2K22. It's probably not going to happen with Lego Star Wars.
access model.
And then
sports games in the summer of it, and later in the year, there's question marks over them.
Well, yeah, that's it. Like I said, if we get to the summer when EA Play do their announcement and FIFA 23, Madden 23 is talked about and it ain't there, Jedi Fallen Order 2's revealed and it ain't there,
and you can make your game available
that's not good. It's shit from our perspective because we like to play AAA games.
Which makes channels so exciting.
I've got big hopes for Taxi City and Dance Game, Richie, but that won't tear me away from my PS5, unfortunately. So we shall see.
The same diffing mechanism that's available to your team with packages, and the fact that
feel sorry for this guy who spoke over him. So all these videos, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, are available on demand. If you go to the Google Developers channel, there's a full playlist which you may have seen already, broken down. That logo on the right kind of looks like it's getting close to the Xbox logo.
The features and processes we've shared thus far, your team should be able to scale their development and playtesting efforts,
yeah, it does,
but we're not finished. There are several exciting ways we plan to continue growing this functionality over the coming months and quarters. For instance, saving project-level configurations and automatically reserving instances should help reduce the overhead even more for your testing team, as well as the ability to search game runs and access them from the CLI. And finally, we want to add several new artifacts such as crash
I agree. I think
and
most
toolkits
developers look at cloud gaming as a viable option.
By removing the
if there's a difference between the developer and the publisher, if the publisher's looking at it and going, we're not going to sell enough copies there, they're not going to fund it. The individual developer making this game, I go, this is great.
Making it easier to develop.
But if they don't sell enough copies, then in the end of the day, it's a business. You have to sell enough copies to make it worthwhile.
And to begin
you need that return on investment.
Thank you so much for your time.
Ubisoft are all in. I think they just said, you know what we'll do? We'll use Ubisoft Plus as a way of like monetizing it, and we'll just put it anywhere, and we don't care what platform they're on.
Right. So we're back on the screen. So we've done Stadia Adventure, performance profiling, write an emulator from scratch. Now, realistically, Richie, are we going to get anything out of watching these?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. The emulator one, there's a Verge article up, I believe. Profiling solutions, not us.
I think a lot of people might have got the wrong idea of what a Windows emulator is about. It's not about, I can use my Chromecast to just access like Microsoft Word. It's about putting a layer of code over Linux that Stadia is based in, so that games can be Windows-based games can be ported over without having to translate it into a Linux-based thing. So that's all that was about. It's a lot of the article. A lot of we called it out actually last week. A lot of news sites kept dropping this word emulator, and we felt a bit like they were just echoing each other.
Well, yeah, it was someone reported on it, and then it was like copy paste, referencing the other one. They could have actually just went to the keynote and reported on it direct from the keynote, but we'll see what the articles say after the fact. Now it's out in the wild. But we are obviously big fans of Stadia on this channel. We have been since launch. Our channel is a Stadia focused one. We do the Sounds of Stadia podcast every week. We round up all of the Stadia and gaming news for your listening viewing pleasure on YouTube or on podcast services up there in the digital cloud, however you want to listen to our content. But we are always saying that we're open, we're honest, we'll critique them when they do things good or bad, for a better or for worse, and we've been quite fair and honest so far. So I think it's only right, Richie, that we are honest with ourselves right now, where us sitting and watching for another hour these videos from developers where we have no real context for what they're talking about or the code would be a disservice to your time, folks watching along at home, and probably ours as well. When we can review it, we can read it, we can review, and we'll get back to you all on this week's episode of the Sounds of Stadia podcast. Richie, thank you for joining me for the Developer Summit keynote. What little time? Oh, you were at work. It's a work week. Everyone at work who's tuned in around the globe, those in stateside who just started the day. It's dinner time over here in the UK. My tummy's rumbling, so I think it's safe to say that we call it a day on this particular stream, and we'll see you next time. Don't forget, we do also have weekly live streams on the channel where we play a variety of Stadia games with you, the lovely community out there. We also have our episode of SideQuest that goes up this Friday on free feeds. If you are a member, you do actually get access to that up to 6 days early. And Richie, we actually went a little bit off track this week and spoke about something different.
We did. This week we're talking about what mouse and keyboard based games, PC games, that sort of thing, that we'd like to see come over to Stadia. Assuming that like Stadia dropped the requirement for a game to actually be able to use the gamepad, what could Stadia do there?
Yeah, big interest and topical points. And of course, if you have any particular subjects you'd like to write in about, you can join on the Discord server below. Links in the description. All the awesome people who've been in the chat, a lot of the faces in there are in our Discord server. We talk about games. We talk about stuff on there. Stadia porting platform, Richie. It does say The Witcher 2 is on there as well, and Fortnite. Interesting tidbit.
Witcher 2?
Yeah, which is the actual stream slide from Marcin Undak, who's going to talk about the porting platform. Whether that's confirmed that those games are coming, who knows? But we'll break it down next time, ladies and gentlemen. But thank you very much for tuning into our stream for the keynote speech and a little bit more as we looked over it. But we'll see you on the next one. Hope you have a great week, and remember to play whatever makes you the happiest, wherever that may be. My name's been Chris.
I've been Richie.
We've been Helix Cloud Games. Have a great week, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the videos if you choose to watch them. Goodbye.
Bye.